home of the Philadelphia Eagles.
They got him again!
Sixers.
Bang! It's good! Ball game!
And Flyers.
Tipped in front of the net!
97.3 ESPN. WENJ. WENJ HD. Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey.
Isn't it about time for somebody's favorite radio program?
Yeah. 97.3 ESPN presents The Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
When I'm driving, who talks? But he talks to me.
Now, live from inside the Ocean Casino Resort Studio, here's Mike Gill.
Welcome in. It is the Sports Bash on a Monday. Nikki Nuggets, Pete G, Josh Henning, all filling in for Mr. Mike Gill. Today, we are live, not inside the Ocean Casino Resort Studios, but we are at the Fanatic Sportsbook and Ocean Casino's Gallery Bar, Book, and Games. Come say hello, stop by. We're going to have an absolute blast over the next 4 hours of the show. Lot to get into today. Eagles, they played a game over the weekend. Did anyone care? We'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. But I want to start with the Philadelphia Phillies, a team that might have found a little magic, Pete G, out there in Iowa. Those corn stalks, they do something. They do something. And the Phillies, they sweep the Minnesota Twins over the weekend, win 3 in a row. Now, granted, it is the Twins, but they've caught some fire offensively in their last 3 games, I should say. They have scored 7 or more runs in that span, a total of 23 runs over their past 3 games. They got the Marlins tonight, but it begs the question. This team is so up, so down, all of the time. And I just sit here and I wonder, and I pose the question to you at 609-403-0973. Do you trust the Phillies heading down the stretch? Do you trust their pitching staff, whether it's the bullpen, the starting pitching? The offense seemingly has come alive here over the past couple of days. That Kyle Schwarber leadoff dinger in Iowa at the Field of Dreams game kind of set this team in motion. And I sit here and I wonder, over the next maybe week to 2 weeks, I trust them. I think the offense has found a little bit of a groove. They got the Marlins over this week. They got the Cardinals again, and then they got the Mariners back on the road. So they got this 6-game homestand. They come home, and I think that's at the perfect time. They needed to get away from Philadelphia for a little while. And the offense found its groove a little bit. Alec Boehm, listen, he can make some dumb decisions at times. He made a dumb decision on the base pass the other day. I believe it was Saturday night. It was Saturday night. He makes a bad decision on the base pass. But since the All-Star break, he's been batting right around 320, couple of home runs, nearly 20 RBIs. He has been a different player. He had 5 hits. 5 hits in a game the other night. Unbelievable. He has turned it around dramatically at the dish. They need that Alec Boehm. That version of Alec Boehm needs to be here. So I trust this Phillies team. I trust Alec Boehm over the next week. After that, I'm sorry. I still don't. This is the problem with the Phillies, PG. They're so inconsistent in everything they do. They can look like the best team in baseball one day. The next day, they look like the worst team in baseball. So I ask you, 609-403-0973. Do you trust this Phillies team heading down the stretch? I trust them for about a week. That's about it. I don't trust them after that, PG.
Yeah, I mean, the Cardinals series was a perfect example of them being down, right? Couldn't hit the ball, couldn't really pitch the ball. Wheeler got hit around a little bit. Sanchez didn't help you. And then they go to the Field of Dreams. They look great. They sweep Minnesota, and they didn't even need Christopher Sanchez or Zach Wheeler to do it.
No.
You had Luzardo. You had Nola. I mean, Painter yesterday, the grand slam, we know, but he hung in there, and they came back. And that was a testament to the veteran guys in this clubhouse, right? They don't get too high. They don't get too low.
You sound like Tommy Green.
Is that what he was saying over the weekend?
Yeah, that's what he says on the locker room.
7-1, 9-1, 7-5. That's a great series for you on the road.
Runs. 23 runs in 3 games. Listen, I think that game in Iowa was a nice launching pad for like the next week or two, right?
That's why this week is so important with
it's
Miami in here,
so important.
St. Louis again. I mean, these next 6 games are going to really tell you what you need to know for the month of September.
Now, tonight, Christopher Sanchez is on the bump for the Phillies. The Phillies currently, as it stands right now in the wild card chase, are tied for second with the San Diego Padres. The Arizona Diamondbacks are hanging around 1 game out of that 3rd spot, and the Chicago Cubs are up 5 games with that 1st wild card spot at the moment right now. I don't think the Phillies have a shot at all to catch the Braves. They're 7.5 out of the Braves.
And to catch the Cubs, really.
Yeah. So I think that second wild card is what it's probably going to be. But this is a team that really could, if they don't play good baseball over the next month, fall out of a playoff spot. They've already been on the outside looking in, right? They've already been there. Just a couple of days ago, they had the Diamondbacks tied them and leapfrogged them. So I sit here and yes, okay.
You still aren't a believer.
I'm still not believe. I think that was
need to see more.
I need to see more. And
from
it was
who?
From everybody.
From everyone. Okay.
It was a spark. It was a nice spark in August. I was reading an article. I think it was Scott Lauber that put it out over the weekend in the Inquirer. Jim Leland had an old phrase talking about August 15th is really when the playoffs push starts. What's today's date? August 17th.
Yeah.
So they're only 2 games into the playoff push right now. So it's a good time to really get hot and have a spark. But I just don't trust this team. And Gill and I have talked about it. I believe you were on the day we were talking about it. Does this team have that next gear? I don't know if they do. I think it could come in spurts, but it's not going to be enough to get you through September, get you through an entire postseason run, especially if you're playing more games in the wild card. I think the guys are getting a little older. They're getting a little tired. They've made the postseason every year since 2022. You don't have as much depth on the pitching staff, whether it's starting pitching, whether it is the bullpen. I don't trust it enough. If the bats get hot, great. But they need it all to come together and be together through a postseason run if they want a chance to win a World Series. I just don't know if they're going to be able to do it for a sustained amount of time. That's where I'm concerned.
One guy who has really held his own and really helped matters is Alec Bohm. You mentioned the 5-hitter.
Yep.
You mentioned the home run yesterday that really won the game for him. That kind of gave him the spark that they needed. And Alec Bohm, really, since the last 30 days, since the All-Star break,
I got it right here.
You got the numbers.
I got the numbers on the yellow pad right next to me. All right,
a little Ray Didinger action.
I got you.
I like
Absolutely.
that. I like that.
Since the All-Star break, heading into yesterday's game, he's batting .320, 2 home runs, 17 RBIs.
That's a
Much better.
Great split. Yeah, and
now,
Stott too. Stott is another guy who's really held his own for the last 30 days.
Now, I want to explain why Alec Bohm, and Alec Bohm's actually going to explain it for us. There was a meeting of the minds, Don Mattingly, Kevin Long, Bohm, some of the players that took place. They changed their approach at the plate, and Alec Bohm did as well. They were not taking enough pitches, and that was clear as obvious if you're just a viewer of the game. I want you to take a listen to Alec Bohm after Saturday night's game and what he talked about in his different approach at the plate. Here's Bohm.
Yeah, I think we definitely responded pretty well to that meeting. I think it just kind of brought to everybody's attention that, like, look, kind of got to clean it up a little bit. Like, we're swinging ourselves out of innings, out of at-bats. And, like, numbers say there's not a lot of strikes coming over the plate to a lot of us. So, like, just, like, let's at least be looking for something. And, like, if we're going to go down, let's go down with the plan and, like, you know, not just be up there free swinging. And I think that kind of landed with everybody, and I think we've definitely responded in a good way since then.
Yeah, I'm glad he's not free swinging anymore.
Yeah, I'm glad it took until August 15th.
Yeah, I mean, jeez. thank you for having an approach. And thank you for somebody getting into these guys' ear and having some type of approach when you go up to the dish. I mean, it's worked when you're not just free swinging all the time. Now, some batters, some players over the years, that definitely has worked. I was like that when I was growing up. I was just a free swinger. I had no approach at the plate. I would just go up there, wait for my pitch, take pitches if I need to. It would change all the time. But Bohm clearly needed that. And it's shown it's been a difference since the All-Star break. And listen, can he get on everybody's nerves at times?
Yeah, I mean, it's a love-hate relationship.
But guess what? That guy, if he's hitting the way he has been, that can be a player that can make a difference in October. He gets a big hit, guy on second base, guy on third, runner in scoring position. If he's consistently hitting the baseball, making contact, hitting doubles like we want him to, that is a true difference maker in the postseason, and it'd be an unexpected difference maker because we haven't seen it in so long.
And he gets more hate than he really deserves.
Sure.
I can honestly say that. His body language sucks. We know. He's kind of immature. Has improved. And you gave the stats the last 30 days, what he's been doing.
Yep.
And really runners in scoring position as well.
Yeah, it's been a massive difference. And the Phillies as a team, all right, before the month of August, had the lowest on-base percentage in Major League Baseball. They had the second highest chase rate in Major League Baseball prior to the month of August. They now have the second lowest strikeout rate since the start of August and lead baseball in OBP and walk rate since the month started. Now, it's only 17 days. You're about halfway through. But that's a clear difference.
And that lines up with the acquisition of Luis Arraez.
Absolutely. Even he struggled when he came over. He was like, oh, man, for a couple of days, you're like, the guy's not getting on base, not getting base hits. But it has changed. It has flipped. I hope it continues. I just don't know if it could be sustainable with this group of players. I think it could be for a week, a 2-week period. We're going to get so excited. If they go in, take 2 or 3 against Miami, they take 2 or 3 against the Cardinals.
Well, then the train, choo. Let's go.
Everyone's going to be like, this team's going to the World Series.
Let's fire up the engines.
I am going to be the one to pump the brakes. I'm going to be like, yeah, I've seen this story before. I've gotten excited. And now I'm a little more mature. I'm pushing 30, Pete. I'm 26 now. So I'm on the other side of 25. I've gotten a little more wiser and not as excitable when it comes to the Philadelphia Phillies over the past couple of years. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I would have told you. I would have said this. I would have been like, if they win this series against the Marlins, they beat the St. Louis Cardinals as well, then guess what? This team's going to the World Series. I've seen this team too many times now. I don't trust them. I'm sorry. I just don't. I think last year was the final year that this team really had a shot. And there's a couple of reasons for that. It's the depth piece, but it's also the fundamentals. This team struggles mightily with the fundamentals of the game, and that's going to win or lose you a series. And we saw it against the Dodgers last year. How many dumb mistakes, base running mistakes, in the field,
Trey Turner's
not knowing
play,
where to go, errors.
Yeah,
that is a clear issue, and it's been an issue for years and years now. And it's still there. It's still an issue. And that's where I get the pause. And that's where I say, for a week, they're going to get us all excited and have us ready to go. They sweep the Twins, even though the Twins stink. And somehow they're in a playoff race, which is wild to me because the AL is just poor.
Well, I think Gill's A-Shore Babe Ruth team is still in the wild card.
Yeah, they still got a shot. By the way, they won today.
They did?
They did win today.
I know they beat Puerto Rico over the weekend, but they won again.
2-0 they won.
I texted Gill over the weekend. I said, man, you beat an entire country.
Yeah.
Puerto Rico put out their best team against you guys.
Coach Gill.
And Coach Gill took him down.
How about
Good for
that?
You, man.
He's allowed to have this week off.
Yeah.
Go win a championship. You know what? I texted him today, and we'll get back to the Phillies in a second, but Nick Earnshaw filling in for Mike Gill alongside Pete G, on-site producer Josh Henning back at the studio. I was texting him. I said, did you guys win? He said, yeah, 2-0. I sent the eye emojis, and I said, bring it home in all caps. You know what he sent me back? The strong emoji. He's the flex emoji. So he's flexing. He's having a good time. I hope they do win. Shout out to the Atlantic Shore team. Wishing them all the best in the World Series. But back to the Phillies. Yeah, listen, they beat the Twins. Okay, great.
It may be too little, too late
Awesome.
for you. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's not even too little, too late. I still think they're going to make the postseason. I don't think they'll fall out of the postseason race. That's not where I'm at.
That'd be a collapse of epic proportions.
I've seen this team go cold too many times. I've seen the same story over and over again. And all the guys are older. They've played together. The same story has happened again and again and again. The offense goes cold. The bullpen struggles. The fundamentals are not there. That's what happens. And I just don't think this team can go on another deep playoff run. It's not 2022 anymore. Guys like Alec Bohm are 30. Bryson Stott pushing 30. Those guys are older. Now they're wiser and more experienced, but they're also a little more tired. They made the postseason every single year for how many years? Like I just mentioned a couple of minutes ago.
Does it seem like they're back on track though? Whereas against St. Louis, they were really struggling, couldn't hit the ball, but now they're kind of back where they were coming back from 9-19. Now they're kind of back on track for me.
And that is my point. Is like, yes, I think over the next week, 2 weeks, they're going to have a nice stretch where they're winning baseball games and everything's clicking. That's why I'm a little nervous because it's August 17th and it's not September 17th. That's why I'm a little nervous. Because this team just has peaks and they have valleys throughout the year. They look like the worst team in baseball. They look like the best team in baseball. And then you just don't know where they're going to be at the end of September into October. You just don't know. Now, baseball is a funny game, and the Iowa game clearly made a difference for this team. Going out there, getting away from everything.
A shot in the arm. Right?
Yes. That dinger from Kyle Schwarber could have changed the trajectory of the season.
You believe one home run could
believe,
change the trajectory of an entire baseball season?
I believe totally that it could change the trajectory of the season.
Well, and he also had the second one, the good luck charm off the dude's glove.
He did. He had 2 in that game. But the fact he started off, it sparked this team, right? This is what this team needed, was a spark.
They need a kick in the ass sometimes.
I just think the spark's going to run out. I just don't think that spark's going to be lit for as long as we would want it to. That's my whole
You're
thing.
going to be late to the party. That's fine. We're still going to let you in.
You can let me in.
You know, you're still going to be able to get your drinks and your burgers.
Listen,
okay?
2 years ago.
But you're just going to be late to the barbecue.
Listen,
it's fine.
I'm older and wiser. I'm pushing 30 now. All right. I like saying that. That's a fun phrase.
You're going to have to park a little further away because there's going to be no parking spots available for you. And that's okay. You're just going to have to walk.
You think this team's going to go on a run? Really? Do you really believe?
I like what I saw, okay? I did like
too.
what I
For a week or two, it's going to be lit. The spark's going to be lit for a week or two. And listen, we've seen cracks in Sanchez and in Wheeler. We've seen that in the starting pitching. I mean, that is this team's bread and butter is the starting pitching of this team.
That's why a guy like Kevin Gausman would have been nice at the deadline or another pitcher of that caliber.
And that's why I was screaming for months for them to get another starter, and they did not do it. Well, so that's what concerns me. And we're going to get into it later, Pete. We're going to get into it later about Nola and Painter.
Well, Nola's my game 4 guy right now, right? I mean, if they make it that far, Nola's starting game. Well, yeah. Okay.
I'm not going to give my opinion out yet. But
you're not. Okay.
I will say this. Very much why I think the spark is not going to be lit for as long as we'd like it to be because of the depth of the starting pitching. Did you see Andrew Painter yesterday? Very concerning.
I saw that grand slam, yeah.
Yeah, and then he hit a guy in the face. Hit him
on
the brim.
Yep.
Hit him on the brim. Now, he settled in a little bit after that. Wasn't as bad, but it seems like he starts off the game poor and then finds his command a little bit as the game goes along.
Well, then do you go opener? Do you help him out that way?
Who's opening?
Well, I mean, you could go.
Who's opening? We'll get into that.
Ron Hell, any one of those guys.
In a postseason game?
Oh, no, not in a postseason game. No, but down the stretch, September.
Yeah. You're going to have guys eat innings. And that's another part of this equation is the bullpen. I mean, those guys are going to be taxed. You're going to be asking your starting pitchers to go 7 innings, 6 innings, hopefully 8 innings because Boland's the guy in the 8th, but I mean, other than Bolin, I mean, Duran you have for the 9th, great. But there's going to be times in the postseason where you're going to have pockets. You always hear that term pocket during the game. Could be in the 6th, could be in the 7th. You might need to burn Duran because you might be in a win or lose situation that you need to go get Duran and not use him as your closer.
Yeah.
You need to use him in that pocket for a big opportunity to win a ball game.
And wasn't over the weekend, Mattingly talked a little bit about talking to Duran and Kirkring, getting them prepared for maybe 2 innings in the playoffs.
Duran. Yeah, I could see Duran pitching 2 innings. Are you going to tax him in the wild card series? What's he going to be like if you get to a World Series?
No, but I think that's probably in the back of his mind, Mattingly, is, Duran's going to have to pitch 2 innings if it comes to that.
And that's a problem. And that's a problem in and of itself. But right now, you know what? They won 3 straight games.
You got to give him credit. I mean, Alec Bohm was going to be DFA'd 2 weeks ago.
You're totally right. I think the spark can last for about 2 weeks. It's after that, we'll revisit. We'll revisit after 2 weeks because that's where I'm at with this team. I think they can do it in spurts. In spurts, this team can really look like the best team in baseball, and everyone should be scared to death of that. I just think that spark's not going to be lit enough. 609-403-0973. I see the text board is lighting up. Shane or an EHT. He says, coming back from 5-0 for the first time in a long time, I felt good. My hopes are up, but my trust has been broken. In the words of Princess Leia, hope. Shane or an EHT. That's all I got.
That's fair. I mean, that's
all
course.
I got.
You got your heart broken one too many times. That's okay.
Listen, all right, let's go back to the text board. John in Cape May Courthouse, how many wins do you think the Phillies need to make the playoffs? Let's assume it's 90 wins. That means they have to go 23-14 over the last 37. Don't think it's doable. I'm glad you brought this up, John, because I was reading an article in the Inquirer today. I believe it was David Murphy, and they have the 5th hardest schedule coming down the stretch into September. The 5th hardest in baseball. They're playing against a lot of winning teams, whether it's the Braves, the Astros. They have the Diamondbacks, I believe, as well, if I'm not mistaken.
At Arizona. That'll be a big – that's a Labor Day.
Huge.
The road trip, Seattle, L.A., and then Arizona. Yep.
That's
a big road trip.
And that's why I don't think the sparks can be lit, because I think the schedule also plays a role into this entire thing. They have a long West Coast trip. They are going up against teams that are in the mix, like the Diamondbacks, for those spots in the wild card. And that's where I sit back and I'm just like, I don't know if I trust this team for longer than a couple of weeks to really be looking like the best team in baseball. They've done their job against the bad teams. It's against the good teams that they are going to have to string together wins and be on fire. They just have to be hot at that time. I don't know how much they can do it, how long it can last at the age that they're at the depth of this team. That's where I sit back and I'm just like, for a week,
you know what?
Be good.
If that happens, looking back on the season, that stretch,
everyone will say Nick was right.
Well, that too. But the stretch of the coming out of the break, Dodgers, Yankees, and the Miami series.
Yep.
You only won 1 game in that entire stretch. That could be a killer.
Will the spark be lit for longer than a month? Longer than a month and a half? I don't know. We'll find out. On the other side, coming up, Mike McGarry of the Press of Atlantic City. We'll see if he is in agreement with me on how long this can last down the stretch for the Phillies. Can they stay hot? Did Iowa save the season? We'll get all that and more coming up right here on the Sports Bash. I am Earnshaw alongside Pete G. Josh heading back to the studio. Filling in for Mike Gill today on 97.3 ESPN.
We have the Phillies covered.
Swing and a drive, right field, way back, forget it, out of here. Kyle Schwarber hammers one over the right field wall.
Get the best Phillies baseball coverage on the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN.
Ventnor Social is Down Beach's go-to place for game days. No shower happy hours, beach nights, live music, great food, cold drinks, and being social. From cheering on Phillies baseball team and other sports action on their 20 big screen TVs, to enjoying a cold beverage on the roof deck, to playing an arcade game, plus game day food and wing specials, along with other delicious cuisine. Get social at Ventnor Social, Ventnor Avenue in Ventnor. Check out their Facebook page for the latest specials and events.
New Game Plus with Oxy makes your laundry smell incredible and fights stubborn smells, like the ones your dog Biscuit brought into your freshly made bed last night. But you washed that all away with Game, and now you're drifting asleep to the scent and sound of waves. Ah, no, that's the dog licking your ear.
Biscuit.
It just might be our greatest scent ever, now with odor fighting power. New Game Plus with Oxy.
Sniff the difference. Game.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Fanatic Sportsbook inside Ocean Casino Resort. What a time. The Fanatic Sportsbook and Ocean Casino's gallery bar booking games is Ocean's go-to game day destination. Coming up now, we have Mike McGarry from the Press of Atlantic City, and I can't wait to talk all things Phils with Mike at Press of AC. Mike, this is a team that's gotten hot since they were out in the cornfields in Iowa, and we started the show talking about, is this sustainable for the Phillies heading down to the stretch? What say you? Yeah, I think you can't say it any better. They're consistently inconsistent. The peaks and valleys of the season. This is how this team is. They're up, they're down, all around. But one guy who has really stepped up over the past couple of days, and you would hope it's a spark for him, is Alec Bohm. I mean, since the All-Star break, heading into yesterday, batting 320, 2 home runs, 17 RBIs. What have you noticed from Alec Bohm? He talked about changing his approach in the meeting with Don Mattingly that they had. What have you seen from Bohm, and do you think he can keep it going? Yep.
Mike, over the weekend, we heard from Bob Nightingale reporting that Alex Cora is really strongly expected to become the next manager of the Phillies in 2027. I mean, pretty much a done deal unless Don Mattingly, wins the World Series. And even then, you could make an argument that, Cora could still become the manager. Where does that come from? Why does that happen on a random August weekend, do you think? What's your theory on that report from Bob Nightingale over the weekend?
We're talking with Mike McGarry, Press of AC, at AC Press McGarry on the Twitter X platform. Nick Earnshaw, Pete G, filling in for Mike Gill today. Mike, I want to get into the bullpen as well. We were having a discussion regarding Joan Duran. Could they pitch him twice out of the postseason if they get there for 2 innings? Could Alex McFarland be a big factor heading into the postseason? What do you make at where the bullpen stands at this point?
Mike, this one's from Scott Lauber of the Inquirer. We talked about this earlier, but through July 31st, pre-July 31st, the Phillies as a team had a 7.8% walk rate. In August, we're halfway through, it's up to 13.1%. What do you attribute that to? I mean, that's obviously Luis Arraez arrives August 1st or so. He's in the lineup, batting cleanup. Bryce Harper taking his walks a lot more now than he did earlier on in the season. But, Mike, what do you attribute that overall, that just stark contrast from pre-July 31 to now August 17th? Mike, what did you this is the first time you've been on the air since the Field of Dreams game, so I want to get your take on that game as a whole, the production that MLB has put on this year and years prior. I know next year is going to be Kansas City and Boston if there is a season and a game. Now for me, my opinion, I don't want it to turn into like the Winter Classic where it kind of jumps the shark a little bit, where we're playing games in Florida and all that stuff. But what is your take on the Field of Dreams game as a whole? Should MLB do anything differently? Should they, do this here, maybe tinker there? What's your take on that, Mike? Yeah.
Mike McGarry at Press of AC. One last one for you, Mike. The Phillies have a tough schedule coming up here through the end of September. They're going to have, after the 6-game homestand, a long West Coast road trip. They're going to play the Diamondbacks, who they're battling for position for in the wild card race. What do you make of the schedule heading down the stretch here? Yeah, that West Coast trip wraps up on September 2nd with the Diamondbacks, and then they come home that Friday. Oh, they just get the Atlanta Braves for a 4-game set. Mike, at AC Press McGarry, we appreciate you always coming on, and we'll talk to you soon. All right,
Yeah, Mike.
there's Mike McGarry, Press of AC, at AC Press McGarry on the Twitter X platform. Great stuff, as always, from him. Yeah, man. Oh, that West Coast trip, it's going to be defining for the season. And I think Mike's right. It's going to go one way or the other way. We'll see how it all shakes out. I am Nick Earnshaw, filling in for Mike Gill. Got Pete G riding shotgun with me. Josh Henning back in the studio. On the other side, the Golic Minute. Let's get into it. Coming up right now on the Sports Bash, 97.3 ESPN.
It's the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
Keeping the fans entertained and happy.
On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Sebastian Maniscalco, live.
Well, some people do Venmo. Maybe you went out to dinner before the show. Somebody paid, and then the rest of the group said, "No, we'll Venmo you later." No, you pay me. No, right? You can leave here tonight and wrap yourself around a tree. Where does that leave me?
Live on stage at Ovation Hall and Ocean Casino Resort for 8 shows in September 2026. Get tickets now at theoceanac.com.
You're listening to The Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Tommy John, he saved thousands of careers and tens of thousands of elbows by being a willing guinea pig. Never before had a surgery like ulnar collateral reconstruction using the palmaris longus, which is what Dr. Frank Jobe wanted to name it, but he said it just wasn't catchy enough. And because of that, and because Frank Jobe was an unfailingly humble man, we thought Tommy John surgery sounded great. And if you think about it, guys, is there a more resonant name of a former player in modern baseball than Tommy John? Is there someone's name who lives on in the daily discourse like Babe Ruth and Jackie Robinson were both more famous, they were better players, but just in terms of day-to-day baseball activity, I would venture to say nobody's name is mentioned more than Tommy John and the service he did to the game beyond a career that had 288 wins and the 19th most innings pitched in Major League Baseball history.
There is the Golic Minute. Jeff Passan, ESPN's MLB insider, joining the Golic this morning. Yes, discussing the passing of Tommy John, one of the all-time great pitchers, and he set the standard for this surgery, taking a risk. He had the surgery back in 1974. And after that operation, won more than 160 games after the operation was completed and was a three-time All-Star. We did a nugget a couple of weeks ago that this was probably coming. He didn't attend the Yankees, I guess it was like Old Timers Day. Yep. Yeah. And he put out a statement kind of thanking the fans, thanking everybody for great life, essentially, and what he was blessed to do. And yeah, he is a pioneer for that surgery. So many pitchers have had it through the years.
35% of active pitchers have undergone Tommy John surgery at some point in their career.
Yep.
And mostly all of them, I don't want to say all of them, but a lot of them come back better than ever.
Yep. He had
or the same level that they've had.
He had a career 3.34 ERA, 2,245 strikeouts. Tommy John will be dearly missed. He was 83 years young when he passed away. So, I mean, Andrew Painter being one of the Phillies
guy,
just had it early on in his career. So, I mean, that surgery has done wonders for pitchers over the years, and he really was the guy to pioneer it. I mean, that's why the surgery is named after him, Pete.
Yeah, I mean, to have it, and he Passan talked about it, the career that he had spans
after
from
as well.
Right. Spans from 1963 to 1989. Yep. And he's not in the Hall of Fame. Hopefully one day he will get recognized in the Hall of Fame.
I think at some point he will. He was a 4-time All-Star. He played 8 of his 26 seasons with the Yankees. But
I mean, the guy had a surgery named after him.
Pioneer,
to
say the least. Tommy John, rest in peace, age 83, will be dearly missed. All right, coming up on the other side, we got to talk a little football. Did anyone really care about Saturday's preseason game? I watched it. I watched the majority of it. I know Josh Henning dove into it as well, but not a ton going on, not a lot of offense.
You were watching Sean Wade, weren't you?
No, I was between the Phillies. I was between the Phillies and the Eagles game on Saturday night. We're also going to take a look because the Eagles have a pretty interesting joint practice coming up this week on the road. So we'll dive into that as well. Also, the discourse surrounding Jalen Hurts getting a little ridiculous. We'll talk about that and more coming up on the Sports Bash. Nikki Earnshaw, Nikki Nuggets alongside Pete G right here on 97.3 ESPN.
The Birds are back. Catch Philadelphia Eagles preseason football as the Eagles get ready for the 2026 season. Heading to Foxborough to face the AFC champion Patriots. Saturday night game coverage starts at 6 with Merrill Reese and Mike Quick calling all the action starting at 7.
He takes his drop. He's looking. He's grabbed. They're going to sack him and throw him down at the 23-yard line. Jalen Carter.
This is South Jersey's radio home of the Philadelphia Eagles. 97.3 ESPN.
Go for the fun times and the tan lines. Experience an Atlantic City you never knew. Go to Ocean. Go for the win. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Jersey's official play-by-play home of the Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers.
At 0 point would I ever consider not being a fan of the team.
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey. This is the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app. Now live from inside the Ocean Casino Resort Studio, here's Mike Gill.
Ravens 22-7 on Saturday night as they open up the preseason. Not a lot of offense for the Birds. Two offensive coordinators on that. Now, granted, Andy Dalton started the game for the Eagles, and he played as well. They could only offer 4 first downs in that game.
Took him about 2 hours.
First time in that game. Oof, rough football. I watched like the first half, and then like I was going back and forth between the Phillies and the Eagles on Saturday night. And then once it got to the second half, I was just kind of checking in on my phone and watching like bits and pieces because it was not great football, to say the least, by the Eagles. I did write down, though, takeaways I have. And by the way, the 3 p.m. hour is brought to you by Broadleys Plumbing, Heating, and AC. Broadleys is your trusted source of heating and plumbing service and installation for generations. Call them at 609-390-3907 or visit them online at broadleys.net. Couple of things that I did notice from the game, and we'll have Jeff Mosher on for football at 4 o'clock today, and he'll break it down even further. I thought Jeremiah Trotter Jr. made an impact early on. He was just flying around the ball. You could find him making a tackle, tripping a guy up, moving a lineman back into a running back to slow everything down. He was just finding himself in the play at all times, and that's a great sign. And he kind of reminded me of his dad a little bit, making all those plays in the preseason game. That was my number one takeaway from the game, and Jeremiah Trotter Jr.
And Trot really isn't like a preseason player, right?
No.
I mean, he's kind of like almost a quasi starter at this point in his career. So yeah, good for him. I did see that sack he had.
That was like the main takeaway I had. And then the offense, I mean, listen, you had 2 penalties to open up the game on the first drive. Darius Cooper had a rough drop on 3rd down. I mean, he didn't really do much either. And he's been the talk of camp. He's been the guy with Mekhi Lemon kind of being banged up. By the way, Devontae Smith was back at practice today.
Good to see.
He didn't play in the ball game, obviously. But, yeah, it was not a game where you took a ton away because, first of all, the starters did not play. The only lone starter was defensively was Jahad Campbell, who's also number 11 now. And they just did not play great football. The offense was non-existent, and it makes you wonder about the backup quarterback position there, Pete G. If Jalen goes down, are we confident Andy Dalton and Tanner McKee to be the guy? I mean, I know Cole Payton played as well, but
Cole Payton's got a little Tim Tebow in him. I like that.
I was
Taysom Hill, maybe.
I was not impressed. And then Josh, I know you have some thoughts on the game as well.
First of all, Josh, do you like my Tim Tebow, poor man's Tim Tebow comp for Cole Payton or Taysom Hill?
Very fair. Very fair.
Okay. You know, I got a Tebow jersey.
Do you?
Of an Eagles. Yeah.
Okay.
You're the only
original
one.
number 11.
Listen, Pete, you're 100% right. Cole Payton, his throwing motion is
and he's a lefty. Yeah.
It's an abomination to mankind. Like it's so long. Like I'm waiting for someone to come around the edge, just slap the ball out of his hand.
Were you locked in the fourth quarter, Henning?
Listen, here's the way it works. So anyone who knows me, this is how I work. I watch the game, but I rewatch everything afterward. Okay, I got the NFL Plus subscription. I rewatch the game. That's where I take my real notes after rewatch. So, because the rewatch showed me that Cole Payton, he looks good against 4 stringers. It's like playing against like Florida Southern A&M or something like that. Like,
I mean, we're sitting here breaking down Cole Payton,
but we have to.
Is there a roster spot for him though? Is there a
Probably
spot for
not.
him?
Probably not.
Probably not. Even to have like a little Taysom Hill package or something to that effect.
I go back to, I think that he's going to end up on the practice squad. I think that this Tanner McKee, Andy Dalton does concern me, like you guys said, because you brought Andy Dalton in because he's supposed to be a veteran quarterback.
Yeah.
And there were multiple. Now, listen, it wasn't all him. I understand the O-line didn't really do a good job.
No.
All kinds of penalties. No one looked good on that O-line in the game on Saturday. But still, you're Andy Dalton. You got to throw some better passes than you throw.
Well, what was the whole reasoning behind bringing in Andy Dalton?
Because it's a new offense.
But I thought we were set with Jalen Hurts and Tanner McKee.
New offense. You bring in a vet behind Jalen because I don't think they trust.
Did they
Tanner
overplay
McKee.
Did they overthink the room though? In that sense, I mean, Andy Dalton.
Well,
is
no,
dreaming at this
because
point.
McKee looked worse than Dalton did.
He was bad in that Giants game last year. Everyone was so excited about Tanner McKee. He's going to come in. And I was fine that they started him late in the season last year. Remember, it was everyone was up in a tizzy because of the playoff seeding. They start Tanner McKee in that final game, and he was terrible. He did not look good. He did not play well. And, the infatuation with Tanner McKee and this fan base, it just drives me up a wall, Josh. I can't understand. So I get why they bring in Andy Dalton. But, man, neither of them look good against the Ravens.
Do the Eagles want Andy Dalton to take that job? Are they more comfortable with Dalton as the backup or McKee?
Oh, God. Josh,
that's the question that we're going to have to answer here in the next couple weeks.
Neither one do it for me. I'm sorry. The Red Rifle is no longer the Red Rifle, okay? I know Billy Schwein probably wouldn't want to hear this, but I'd prefer to have Joe Flacco as the backup. That guy's at least serviceable.
Listen, Andy's definitely lost his fastball. He don't have the juice on the arm anymore like he used to.
He needs Tommy John surgery.
Pete G from the top row.
Nice.
That was a good one. Yeah.
Back to Pete. You were asking about Tanner McKee. We had Andrew Checo and Adam Capital on Last Week Football at 4, and they both brought up the fact that in training camp, Tanner McKee is struggling a lot in training camp, and it seems like unless he has the deep ball, he doesn't know how to read the defense properly. And you saw in the game yesterday that when it was Dalton in there, Dalton was getting the ball to some of the receivers like Hollywood Brown. Which, by the way, Nick, I'm so glad I brought up the number thing. I was so confused on Saturday of who some of these numbers were. Like Hollywood Brown is 0.
Yeah.
You mentioned Jahad Campbell's number 11. Sean Wade apparently is 30. Like the number thing in preseason was exasperating. And who also brought that up was Ross Tucker, former NFL player.
Yep.
Ross brought up on the broadcast about how he's like, some of these numbers, keep having to look them up. Like, I feel bad for guys like Scott Graham, Ross Tucker. Like, it's like being a high school football game again, and you look down, you're like, well, the roster says one thing.
My spotting chart's wrong.
Right,
like,
exactly.
What is going on here? I listen, and that's why I kind of started the show when I mentioned it earlier at the top. Like, did we really care about this week? Because this coming week, we're going to care about this preseason game and everything leading up to it. This one was kind of like, football's starting, and it's funny because usually that first preseason game, people are fired up.
I did get my first Go Birds of the week over the weekend.
That's good.
I got my first Go Birds of the season.
You got a brand new Kelly Green hat on this.
I know. This is official. This is 2026.
That's clean for those who are watching on the YouTube.
Yeah, if you're watching on the YouTube, the X platform, Nick Earnshaw, Pete G,
Spend
Josh
the money, spend the money for a season.
Yeah, well, you should have saved it for the opener, but I guess that's not happening because you're buying hats.
That's true.
I'm sure the
hat.
I'm sure that hat is not causing that much of a dent.
Every penny matters, Heading.
This is not going to make or break.
I highly doubt
Sixers Cavs.
I highly doubt it's $100 hat over there.
No.
Every penny matters when you're trying to go to a Sixers opener at this point. How expensive that's going to be. But no, this coming week, I think, is going to be the week where people are really going to be invested in the Birds later on in the week because you have the joint practices. A.J. Brown. I think the Checo's going up there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So, this is going to be the week where a preseason game is going to be talked about. But it just goes to show the preseason is going to be gone. It's going to be gone, I think, sooner rather than later. You're going to get that extra regular season game. They'll make a fortune off of that. But the starters really don't play other than Jackson Dart just getting absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, he got blasted in that game.
But, the preseason, there hasn't been as much buzz surrounding the Eagles' first preseason game. It was also on the road as well. And then I think the Sixers and LeBron and the Phillies all going on have kind of put the Eagles, it's crazy to say, but like on a little bit of the back burner with that first game against the Ravens. This week, I think it'll be back. The discussion will kind of heat up again with all the AJ stuff.
Especially with the new offense. I mean, you're just not going to see any sort of
Yeah.
things that Mannion's going to do on week 1 on August 15th. You're just not going to see it.
He even talked about it, right? Like, they're not going to show like anything crazy in these games. They're gonna show basic concepts.
He admitted they're being very vanilla for the preseason.
And the fact that what he talked about being off schedule, drops, penalties, you're not going to deviate from what you wanted to accomplish just because you were, 3rd and 11 in a preseason game.
And you're not going to put like your scheme. You're not going to put a lot of motion on tape for other teams to have in the first preseason game against the Ravens on the road where none of your starters are going to play. You're just not going to do that. And, that's why I'm not getting up in a tizzy. And that's why I was kind of leaning more towards the Phillies on Saturday night, because I'd prefer to watch the offense score 7 runs in an inning than watch Tanner McKee struggle to get a first down.
Well, I will say that I did have a couple of takeaways. And one of the takeaways you mentioned on the offense is I have concerns with the depth in the offensive line. Lane Johnson came out and says potentially his last year.
Yep.
So last night was the first time we got to see some of those backups in action this year. And Markel Bell was okay.
He had a couple nice moments. Yeah.
He had him going, look bad with Fred Johnson. Fred Johnson looks like he has regressed a lot from a couple of years ago. And I don't know about you guys, but if Landon Dickerson or Cam Jurgens go down, I'm not exactly excited about the interior guys like Drew Kendall.
Yeah. Well, Willie Lampkin, he started at center. That's a guy that's been talked about a lot.
They switched the guard, right? Didn't they do a little switch?
Yep.
Yeah.
They put Kendall at one point at center and Lampkin at guard. And
they moved him.
It was actually a little better with Kendall at center. Lampkin looked awkward at center.
Yeah, I think he's better fit as a guard, especially at his size. But yeah, I think Josh brings up a great point in regards to the offensive line and the depth there. I mean, this is an offensive line last year that was hurt, right? Lane Johnson was out. Cam Jurgens had to get stem cells. Landon Dickerson had to get stem cells. So you are banking on your starters being back and healthy this year and not missing a ton of time, because we saw what happens when this team's lines, whether it's defense or offense, when they struggle in the trenches, this team has a tough time finding a rhythm and winning football games. And you're going to see that again if they can't stay healthy and they can't stay on the field. This team goes as the offensive line and defensive line goes. So if they're not healthy, it's not good. It's not good, Josh.
You know who else struggled in the game was the Eagles' depth at secondary.
Yeah.
You saw
that's a big drop off.
I wrote that note down. Keely Ringo, he gave up, I think it was the first touchdown of the game.
Yep.
He could not get out of his back pedal, and his transition to get to
he has no hip fluidity at all. He cannot turn and run.
Yeah, I wrote that down as soon as I saw it. I was actually texting our next guest who's coming up at 3:30, Javon Alford from On SI, Fan Side at Total Sports Live. I said, dude, Keely Ringo cannot move, man. Like, he just can't.
I think position-wise, secondary has the biggest drop-off from starters to reserves.
Yeah.
And that was evident in Saturday's.
And you know what else was evident? I was going to say, one of the conversations we had in the days leading up to the game was, Mac McWilliams and Jacorian Bennett are supposed to be in a competition for the backup corner. Well, Mac McWilliams got a lot of playing time, and he got burned a few times.
Yep.
You didn't even see a minute from Jacorian Bennett.
He got hurt.
That's a problem because
Not good.
It's supposed to be a competition. One guy ain't on the field, and the other guy, he's having some okay moments. By the way, I do have to give McWilliams one credit for one thing. He is a much better tackler than he is a cover guy, which makes you wonder, is his future maybe as a nickel corner and a safety? Because on the outside, he was not having the greatest day. He wasn't as bad as Keely Ringo or Wade were. Sean Wade was getting burned too.
Yeah.
Like he was just chump change. And for all the hype about Andre Sam for the last 2 years, he knows the defense. Vic Fangio likes him. Sam didn't have a great day at the office either.
Yeah, no, it was tough football to watch. That's for sure. And yeah, you move on. It's a preseason game. It's August 17th. I still think this is going to be a good football team heading into next year. But yeah, there's definitely some depth concerns. Very much looking forward to see what this Patriots week's going to look like.
I mean, it's going to be Quignon against AJ.
I don't even think the football's,
practices.
The football's not even going to matter. The football's not even going to matter for the most part because you know why? It's going to be the discussion and the drama surrounding AJ.
I want about 10 cameras on Quignon and AJ in practice.
Yeah, so that's going to be this week. People are going to look forward the practice will probably more so than the game.
What's the
with
over-under
AJ
on
up
fights?
That's a good question.
One
What
and
you
a half?
I'd say 2.5.
2.5.
2.5. I'm going to set it at 2.5 fights, or at least pushing and shoving. Do we count scuffles?
No. I
count scuffles.
I need like aggressive scuffling.
You need Fred Johnson, Moro, Jomo.
Yeah, where
Yes.
Big Dom's got to take one of them off to the sideline.
I need an incident where Big Dom has to run onto the field and get someone off the field. That's a fight.
Dude, there better not be any closed practices. There better be cameras everywhere. Like they should literally just make this an HBO special for Hard Knocks this week because of what's going to go on and what's going to take place. Yo, do you think – I'm going to put this out there to the audience well. It's 609-403-0973, and you can text in on the White Horse RV text line as well, White Horse RV Center in Williamstown and Galloway. Your RV adventure starts here at White Horse RV. Do we think Jalen and AJ are seen talking to each other at all?
Nope.
I would say yeah. Maybe if it's just for the cameras, I could see it happening.
I don't think they're going to go near each other.
No?
I'm with Josh. I don't think they're going to go near each other. I think they're going to stay
Shaq and Kobe kind of deal.
Stay as far away from each other as possible. I don't even think you're going to get a glimpse of them within 10 feet of each other.
I go back to what Jalen said a couple of weeks ago when they first came to training camp. I talked about how, there's no selfishness here. There's 100% commitment to the offense. We're 100% invested in each other. Like, that wasn't comments that just came out of nowhere. Jalen don't say a lot. And when he does, he says what he wants to say. He was not shy about the idea that these guys are invested in what Sean Mannion's doing, and that the guys they have there he thinks are more invested than they were last year.
I could see it happening just for the cameras, just to get people talking.
No, I don't. I think it's that deep that they're not even going to go near each other.
You're
reason to.
You're reading into that Reddit thread too much.
No reason to. I think it's deep. I think it's pretty deep. I mean, Jalen just looks so more loose and so much more happy this training camp, doesn't he? Like he just feels way.
He actually is
loose.
talking more for once.
Yeah. So I feel like we've seen more of Jalen's personality come to light this year in training camp than we have in the past couple of years, even when they won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you one thing. There's no drama. I mean, the only drama was the Moro, Jomo, and Johnson.
And, and as they say, training camp doesn't get started until
It's
drama
free.
609-403-0973. I do want to read some of the texts on the White Horse RV text line as people have been chiming in throughout the show about the Phillies, about the Eagles. We'll have Jovan Alford on SI to talk a little Sixers and Eagles, covers the NBA and the NFL for on SI, so we'll talk to him about that. But on the text line, we have Jeff at Ocean City chiming in, and he says, I have kept the PHAITH, the faith, and I'm ready for the Phillies to enter the playoffs as a wild card. Go Phillies. I am just not there, Pete. I am just not there with the faith in this team. I think they can do it in spurts. I don't think it's a sustained thing. But Gary said it earlier. They are consistently inconsistent.
Even if Bryce Harper drops the we're all we got, we all we need quote after the Field of Dreams broadcast.
Yeah.
That didn't do it for you?
I'll tell you what, Anthony Rizzo's attempt at the corn
with
stuff.
Schwarbs? Yeah.
Well, it was even worse. And it was fine with Schwarber. But then he tried doing it with Harper and Nola, and Nola's not going to give you anything on the post game.
That's what I was asking McGarry about. I don't want Field of Dreams to jump the shark. I didn't. The Roger Clemens, Cody Clemens thing, that was forced to me at the end where they had a catch on the field. That was a little forced.
Yeah.
Just kind of chill out on it. Don't go overboard.
Yeah.
All right. You have something great. I mean, it's beautiful. Don't, make it for TV. Don't jump the shark, as we like to say. Henning, what do you think about that? You think they are going a little overboard here?
Listen, I think part of the problem is Netflix. Netflix is trying to overproduce everything. I think that in the confines of the game, it was fine.
Yeah, the broadcast was fine.
It was all the stuff outside of the game. Like, for example, I asked the question on Friday when I was filling in for Mike. I was like, do we think that Brandon Marsh would have caught that ball if he wasn't too busy talking to Hunter Pence?
Probably. I know Earnshaw tweeted that.
I was going at it. So I tweeted out. That was Thursday night, right? I tweeted out regarding that. Everyone who listens to me on the weekends or on Nuggets on this show knows I am so against the in-game interviews. I can't stand them. I think they're the dumbest thing on the planet. And listen, if you want to do it while they're in the dugout, I can give you that.
And they do get paid handsomely, right?
But the
Just
fact
for
you're doing a
They
regular
do get
season
compensated,
game,
yeah.
a regular season game, you're going to be doing that to interviewing players. And I know the players get paid for it. I understand that. But the fact you're doing it in the middle of the game, his route to that ball, Brandon Marsh's route, was atrocious. And he was distracted because he's got guys in his ear yapping.
Matt Vescursion.
I mean, come on.
Well,
what are we doing?
But what made it worse is that, like, the whole interview, without the whole interview, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but half the interview was Hunter Pence and Brandon Marsh just salivating over each other. And it's like, Sabathia is like, I got nothing to say in this conversation. And Vescursion's like, all right, we got a 3-2 pitch. And Pence is like, bro, I love your hair. You know, it's just like, it was just so poor. Like,
well, Josh, I'll add this. Like, people were coming at me on Twitter because I tweeted out how much I thought it affected his route to the ball. And I'm not saying he would have made the play and made this acrobatic catch to get the baseball, but he wasn't even in the vicinity of where the ball landed.
But we
to
also
the left of it.
But guys, we also forget Brandon Marsh is like 6'4". Like, you ever see pictures with him with other guys? He looks like a football player compared to some of the other guys in the dugout. Like, Jason Kelsey was on his podcast, New Heights, and Kelsey was like, when I first Brandon Marsh, I didn't realize how big he was. Like, how
He's a big
tall
dude.
of a human being he is. So, like,
He's 6'2".
He's 6'2". Well, he looks like he's 6'4" compared to some of the other guys. Like, he looks like a massive human being. So, like, to me, it's like, if you're that tall, you might have a chance at the ball.
Yeah. 609-403-0973.
I agree with you, though, Earnshaw.
Yeah.
And they, again, they're just going overboard. I didn't really get the Roger Clemens, Cody Clemens thing. Roger Clemens comes out with a 1923 Boston Red Sox jersey or something like that.
They had a catch.
I mean,
let them have a catch.
It's
would
just
you?
it's too
That's fine.
forced.
You
think that's fine? That was
fine.
too forced in my opinion.
I don't need the interviews with players during games. All right, 609-403-0973. Andrew in Summers Point chimes in. What is this, overreaction Monday? We beat the lousy Twins, and all of a sudden our trajectory has changed. Crazy talk. I think they could get on a little bit of a heater. They're on a heater right now. They scored 23 runs in 3 games. I'll give them credit where credit's due. The offense is on a heater right now. You got Sanchez on the bump tonight. I said a week, maybe 2. I don't think and that was part of the crux of the conversation is I don't think this is sustainable. I don't think his team's going to win a World Series. I've been on record saying that. Pete's more excitable about this team right now than I am.
It's okay to give them credit where it's due, especially Alec Boehm. I mean, that guy has gone through so much from the fan base that he's changed positions. The last month or so, he's really held his own. Something you can get behind. Right? You come back home, you can maybe hear Alec Boehm a little bit more.
And Andrew, I listen. I
then
think
when he strikes out or grounds into a double play, you can boo him again.
It was a great series. Yeah, sure. And then when he makes another base running mistake, it was a great series. They're on a little
and
bit
then
of
he
a
throws
heater.
his bat or his gloves. Yeah.
We're on a little bit of a heater right now. Fine, great. I think it lasts maybe a week, a little bit of a spark. I think the spark runs out in September. All right, 609-403-0973. Nikki Nuggets, Pete G, Cheap Seats Pete, and Josh Heading, hanging with Heading. We are filling in for Mike Gill today on the Sports Bash. Coming up, we'll talk a little more Eagles preseason with Jovan Alford of On SI. He also has a new Eagles article out on TotalSportsLive.com. And we'll also get into some Sixers talk with Jovan. That's coming up next right here, live from the Fanatic Sportsbook inside Ocean Casino Resort right here on 97.3 ESPN.
LeBron James plays here.
Here comes the Kings down the lane. Oh, man. LeBron James like a locomotive right down the boulevard.
97.3 ESPN. South Jersey's radio home of the Philadelphia 76ers.
Ventnor Social is Down Beach's go-to place for game days. No shower happy hours, beach nights, live music, great food, cold drinks, and being social. From cheering on Phillies baseball team and other sports action on their 20 big screen TVs, to enjoying a cold beverage on the roof deck, to playing an arcade game, plus game day food and wing specials, along with other delicious cuisine. Get social at Ventnor Social, Ventnor Avenue in Ventnor. Check out their Facebook page for the latest specials and events.
Oh, welcome back in. It is the Sports Bash. Nick Earnshaw, Nicky Nuggets, alongside Cheap Seats Pete G, filling in for Mike Gill today. By the way, in case you were wondering, Mike Gill's team won their game today, 2-0. So congrats to them. Hopefully they continue to move on in the World
Mikey
Series.
Baseball, man.
Oh, Mikey
He's-
Baseball.
yeah.
Coach Mike. Coach Bill.
Yeah.
Could he be a champ again? We'll see.
Two-time.
Schweiner was a champ not too long ago, and then he got fired. 609-403-0973. We're having a lot of fun here at the Fanatics Sportsbook inside Ocean Casino Resort, having an absolute blast. And now joining us to continue the Eagles conversation as well, we'll talk a little Sixers with them as well, Jovan Alford on SI and TotalSportsLive.com. He joins us now. And Jovan, we were just talking about the Eagles in the previous segment. You have a new article out on TotalSportsLive.com with your 3 takeaways of the preseason game. Not much there. It was kind of a dud. But one guy I thought really stood out, and you mentioned it too, was Jeremiah Trotter Jr. What was your takeaways from Trotter Jr.? Jovan, your second takeaway had to do with the backup quarterback position, which we know in this area is a very, very important position, to say the least. Andy Dalton, the Red Rifle, in the mix, as well as Tanner McKee. They could only muster up 4 first downs in the ball game. Why is it that the Eagles they went out and signed a guy who really doesn't have the same skill set as Jalen Hurts? Why would you go out and get guys who really don't have the same or similar skill set as your starting quarterback to try and make that transition easier if Jalen were to go down?
All right, I'm going to put you on the spot here. And we know preseason is not for winning games. And it's more important to get reps for backups and rookies and let the coaches decide, depth positions going forward. But for you, what's the strongest position group with the strongest depth-wise, and then the weakest position group when you talk about drop-offs from starters to backups, in your opinion?
We're talking with Jovan Alford on SI and TotalSportsLive.com. I want to transition to the NBA. Jovan, you write about the Knicks for On SI and have covered the Sixers in the past as well. That opening night, it's going to be electric. Sixers, Knicks, October 20th at the Garden, ring ceremony, the whole shebang. What is your takeaway from the offseason of the Sixers? And for Nick Nurse, what do you make of him heading into the season and the job he has to do to make sure he's managing this entire rotation as well as all the egos on this team?
I saw a tweet today from TickPick. 9 out of the 10 most expensive NBA games this season involve the Philadelphia 76ers. Obviously, Sixers-Knicks, I'm sure, is in there. Sixers-Lakers is in there. Sixers-Heat is in there. Sixers-Cavs, you name it. But just talk to us about the quote-unquote LeBron effect that one man can have on one city, one ticket demand. Talk to us about the LeBron James effect. 100%.
Yeah. Jovan Alford on SI, TotalSportsLive.com. Jovan, one last one for you. Is this Sixers team, for you, is this going to be an elevated rivalry between the Sixers and the Knicks heading into next season? October 20th, 2026, the NBA opens up their season as the Sixers travel to New York to begin the 26-27 NBA season. I cannot wait for that. It's going to be an absolute blast to watch this team throughout the year. Jovan, a pleasure as always. Thanks so much for taking a couple of minutes and joining us to talk Birds and Sixers today. All right, Jovan Alford on SI, covers the NBA, the NFL, Knicks, Jets, Sixers, Eagles, all those teams. You can find his work.
These came in today.
He moves economies.
People tweeting that.
He moves economies.
Yes, Philly is in for a nice fall and winter with LeBron in town.
Got a new shirt over the weekend.
Did you?
It says the King right on it.
Does it say Le King or the King?
King.
Okay, because I did see Le King.
I got the King.
I saw LeBron at the Rocky Steps on one T-shirt.
John Clark put out Where was it? Dick's Sporting Goods already getting the jerseys
Yeah,
in.
Dick's is getting them in.
Yep.
Rally House, I'm sure.
Yep. Oh man, I'll be buying a lot of merch coming up over the next couple of
Johnny
weeks.
D. Maria, I'm sure. He's got some unboxing to. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Coming up next, our unsportsmanlike moment of the day. Nikki Earnshaw, Pete G, Josh Henning filling in for Mike Gill today on the Sports Bash.
It's the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
Do I have everybody's attention now?
On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
The 3 o'clock hour of the Sports Bash is brought to you by Broadleaf Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Call 609-390-3907 or visit them online at broadleaf.net.
Kimberly A. Martin made this claim that she loves Mexican food, but doesn't like anything with a tortilla or a wrap.
So Mexican food.
Have to do the pointing also?
No,
I don't know if I know
I'm
how to
just
do
saying, it just, I'm being attacked.
You don't like enchiladas, burritos, fajitas?
Fajitas, first of all.
Do you like tacos?
I love a taco.
Because it's not closed? Is the
It's not a
closing
wrap.
of
I'm
the...
not into the wrap.
What a
I don't
weird
want
thing.
my food wrapped in
What
a
about
cocoon.
quesadillas?
I have had them. I don't love them.
So let me ask you a question.
I love a taco. I crush tacos.
So hard shell tacos or soft shell tacos?
Have I had soft shells? Yes. But I
Oh,
prefer
she doesn't
hard.
she doesn't like it closed.
I don't like, because
She doesn't
then,
like
okay,
it
here's
closed.
the thing. The end.
Oh my God. Now Rob's going to have a field day on
because
this.
look, the ends of the burrito, it's like there's too much bread there. It's just take it out.
Oh, there's our unsportsmanlike moment of the day. Unsportsmanlike every single day, 6 to 10 a.m. She is dead wrong on this one.
this
Mexican
take is
food is
well
outstanding. And we know my food habits, all right? Nikki Earnshaw, Pete G, filling in for Mike Gill today. I just had a burrito last night at about 9 o'clock at night.
There's some
Probably a
chicken in
little
there,
late.
steak?
Chicken and steak.
Oh, you go combo.
Combo.
Okay, good for
So
you.
I love a burrito. I am a big fan of the soft shell and the hard shell of a taco. So I'll do tacos. I'll do burritos. Now, when I was younger, I didn't like it. As I've gotten older, I really much enjoy Mexican food.
burrito.
A
Man,
burrito.
you stuff anything you want into those
It's
things.
awesome. How do you not
Rice,
like a burrito?
beans, sour cream, you name it. I'm stuffing everything in it.
And talking about a quesadilla, I love a quesadilla. A quesadilla got me
You
through
would. You
college.
want to know why? Because that's like a kiddie food.
It is.
You go to a restaurant, the kids menu
You're damn right.
has cheese quesadillas on it.
And all I
You
want
just-
is chicken and
Yeah,
cheese.
just chicken and cheese. No salsa, sour cream, guac, nothing.
So
Just
so
plain.
to circle back to Evan's question, okay? So is Evan and Canty fair to question Kimberly and Martin's love of Mexican food if she doesn't like tortilla?
Yeah, it's not existent. Yeah.
You have to. The tortilla is a big part of everything. I think Evan Cohen had a great point there. Yeah, I'm all in on the Mexican food. I love a burrito. Love a bowl, too. I'll do a bowl.
I could do tortilla chips in a bowl. You dip the
Yeah.
chip in there, and you
Oh,
dip
chips and queso. You know
chips and
what?
queso.
I might have to get that on the way out. I might have to do a little.
They got a Mexican joint in this place.
Yeah, I might have to get something now. Now you're making me hungry.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I had a burrito last night. I might have to get another one. I might do it.
Just
All right.
stop on your way. Get your little kids menu, kids meal.
Listen, I like a real burrito. All right, I double up on the chicken, on the steak, all that good stuff. All right, coming up next, we're having a blast here. Nick Earnshaw, Pete G, filling in for Mike Gill on the Sports Bash today. Josh Henning back at the studio. Coming up next, Jeff Mosher joins us for football at 4 inside the Birds, breaking all things Eagles down. Coming up on the other side, 97.3 ESPN.
The Birds are back. Catch Philadelphia Eagles preseason football as the Eagles get ready for the 2026 season. Heading to Foxborough to face the AFC champion Patriots. Saturday night game coverage starts at 6 with Merrill Reese and Mike Quick calling all the action starting at 7.
He takes his drop. He's looking. He's grabbed. They're going to sack him and throw him down at the 23-yard line. Jalen Carter.
This is South Jersey's radio home of the Philadelphia Eagles. 97.3 ESPN.
The times you spend with your friends and loved ones are the best and will become lifetime memories. Make sure you stay in the picture and stay away from fentanyl. Learn the dangers and risks of this frightening, deadly drug at stayinthepic.nj.gov. Visit stayinthepic.nj.gov from New Jersey Human Services.
South Jersey's official play-by-play home of the Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers.
At 0 point would I ever consider not being a fan of the team.
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey. 97.3 ESPN presents the Sports Bash with Mike Gill. It's time for Football at 4, powered by the Inside the Birds podcast.
Just hungry to bring back another Lombardi to Philly. The fans deserve it. Our team deserves it. Culture begs for it.
Now live, this is Football at 4.
Football at 4 is brought to you by Ocean Casino Resort, the best place for game days. The Fanatic Sportsbook at Ocean Casino's Gallery Bar, booking games, Ocean go-to game day destination, free great drink. And all the sports action you want. It's the perfect place to catch every play and celebrate every win. Big screen, big bets, game day. It's different at Ocean. To learn more, visit oceanac.com. Don't forget to check out all the live entertainment, including Sebastian Maniscalco, September 17th, 20th, and the 24th through the 27th. It is now time for Football at 4, powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. Jeff Mosher is joining us. We're going to break things down from the weekend going forward into this preseason game with the Patriots. I know it's a big week of practice. But Jeff, happy belated 50th birthday to you, my friend. Hope you had a great time.
I did. Thank you. It's felt like my birthday month instead of my birthday, since we are now about 14 days removed, and I'm still celebrating a little bit. But that's the fun of it.
There you
That's
go.
the fun of
You're like a
turning
22-year-old girl.
Yeah. You get a birth month.
Like an influencer. Yeah, you're an influencer.
I've been called worse, Peachy.
Well, Jeff, I want to talk about the preseason dud that was on Saturday night. One takeaway I did have, I thought Jeremiah Trotter looked really good over the weekend for the most part. But I thought he was someone who had a big game. Jeff, what did you make of Jeremiah Trotter's performance?
I've been thinking a lot about Jeremiah Trotter because, I can't remember a bad practice ever from Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Going back to his rookie year. This is year 3 now. And what a time to be alive for Jeremiah Trotter Jr. because there's probably never, not since I've been covering the team for 20 some odd years, and even going back, where a guy could be that good and not break into the starting lineup at off-ball linebacker for the Eagles. I mean, 10 years ago, he would have been their best off-ball linebacker by 10 miles. And now he can't even start because they have an all-pro and a first-round pick. I wonder. I don't think Howie wants to get rid of him in any, because it's important to have depth. But Smile Mondon Jr. is there, and Chance Campbell is a guy they really like, and they're gonna have to make tough roster decisions. I part of me wonders, would Howie call around where people call him to maybe inquire about the availability of Jeremiah Trotter Jr. But the Eagles really like him, and you can't really depend on. I don't want to be unfair, but Jahad Campbell has had shoulder surgeries twice in 2 years so far, and he comes from Alabama. He had some injuries there. I think Trotter's a really good player. Who's probably, if he's probably going to be on the field, and I wonder if Vic Fangio will try to figure out some ways to get him on the field, but not necessarily at the expense of other good players.
Yeah, I thought he really stood out early on in the ball game. But one guy who I think had a little bit of trouble and continues to is Keely Ringo. What do you believe his role is going to be and where he's at? I mean, he lets up the first touchdown of the game. He's just slow to get into the route and cover the receiver going across the middle. What do you make of Keely Ringo's role going forward with this organization?
I don't make anything. He has no role other outside of special teams. He's a very good gunner, a Pro Bowl level gunner. Mm-hmm. If he's on the team, that's what he'll be. He's not in the pecking order. I mean, the only way he's in the pecking order is if you have a rash of injuries. And right now the Eagles kind of do. I know today you had Quinyon Mitchell back and Cooper DeJean back in practice. So, Ringo was back to being among the third teamers. But the other day on Thursday, the last practice before today, there was no DeJean, no Mitchell, no Tariq Castro-Fields, who has even escalated up the depth chart. So that's when you saw Ringo finally get some reps opposite Woolen, but not before Mac McWilliams got one too. So if you're going to do a when healthy, who is above Keely Ringo answer to your question, right? When healthy, you've got Cooper DeJean, you've got Quinyon Mitchell, you've got Michael Carter Jr. as a nickelback ahead of Keely Ringo. You've got Jonathan Jones, the 33-year-old backup that they signed, who is now injured, but we'll see. When healthy, I said, right? He would be ahead of Keely Ringo, and so would Mac McWilliams and maybe possibly even Tariq Castro-Fields, which just shows you that if he's on the team, Keely Ringo is their gunner, and that's it. And, he's another guy that we'll see at cutdown day if there's some kind of intro. I can't imagine there would be, but if Howie could unload him, he might try.
Jeff, one of the more polarizing guys coming out of the draft is Eli Stowers, second-round pick. Fan base is going crazy. They're really concerned about the camp that he's having and the preseason game that he had on Saturday night. I guess for you, Jeff, this guy was always going to be a project, right? I mean, new position for him. Right. What's your level of concern with him? Does he still profile as a tight end, or is he maybe more of a wide receiver? I guess just your overall thoughts of the camp and the game that Eli Stowers had for us.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope that nobody who is rational and who listens to Inside the Birds or 97.3 ESPN, Football at 4, would have expected much more from Eli Stowers, because when the Eagles drafted him, We talked about how great of an athlete that he is, and this athletic traits that he would bring to the position, but that he was far behind as a blocker. He'd only played tight end for 2 years at Vanderbilt. He was a quarterback before that. And in those 2 years, he played in an offense that didn't really ask a lot of blocking from the tight end position. So this is all relatively new to him. And I've seen it every year for as long as I've been reporting, that when you have a kid who's swimming upstairs in his head, trying to figure things out, he plays slower. Your play speed and your time speed can be two different things depending on what's going on with you mentally. And right now he looks like he's adjusting slowly to the physicality of that position, the game overall, and he's playing slow. It's not really letting his athletic traits come through. I think we all remember, it might be a while now, but Zach Ertz was similar. He came in as a pass-catching tight end, didn't block a whole lot at Stanford, which does produce some good blockers, but he wasn't one of them. And he was slow to adjust. Now, he was far more advanced than Eli because he had played the position and he had been asked to block in college. He just wasn't great at it. And you saw how rough it was for Ertz year one and year two. We all remember him not tackling Vontaze Burfict, right, on the interception return and getting all sorts of grief from Eagles fans. And then he wound up having a very good career. So, yeah, you got to be patient. The problem, Pete and Nick, is that this is not like this is not the offense that the Eagles were running years ago. This is an offense where you're in a lot of 12 personnel, but being asked to block. You're asked to run, and he's just not. I saw that in the preseason game. That's not his forte right now.
Jeff, Sean Mannion spoke earlier today, and, they weren't going to show much of this offense. People shouldn't have expected anything. Really, you were going to see a lot of different concepts or anything like that. From your perspective at training camp, for Sean Mannion, what is the expectation for this entire offense heading into the season, and what should people expect from the new version of what Jalen Hurts and company are learning?
Well, first and foremost, Nick and Pete, one of the things that I don't think gets discussed enough, I think you can judge it positively even without like results or good, is getting to the line of scrimmage and getting the play calls in. That has been really, to me, sharp and on time in training camp, and thought it was decent in the preseason game. And I know Sean said today he was going to coach the next game from the booth. He was sidelined, because he's trying to figure out what the best thing is for him. But before the Eagles, I hate to say this, and I know that some people aren't going to agree with it, but sometimes especially when you're learning a new offense, you got to crawl before you walk. And I think to get past last year, one of the first things the Eagles have to do is to just be cleaner out of the huddle. They have to get to the line of scrimmage. They have to get plays off. You can't constantly, and I know this last game wasn't a great example of it because they only ran 44 plays, but they were better to the line of scrimmage. They just weren't running plays because they weren't effective in moving the chains. That, to me, first of all, we didn't even see the starters, but I just want them to see this offense function at a pace that is not like molasses. And I thought at least you were able to see that against the Ravens, and we'll see how that looks going forward. And then especially in joint practices, against the Patriots, we'll see. But I think so far watching in training camp, that is an area to be pleased about that the common fans really won't be able to see until week one.
Jeff, Andy Dalton, Tanner McKee, and Cole Payton. Is it 3 guys for 2 spots in your estimation? Do the Eagles kind of want Andy Dalton to win this job? I know it's still an open competition, but they did go out and trade for him, and he's been in the league for years now. What's your gauge, I guess, on the quarterback competition? Is it 3 guys for 2 spots? Can you find a role for Cole Payton on this team?
Yeah, Pete, that's for me, that's been the enigma wrapped in a riddle for ever since they acquired Dalton. Like, you got 4 and drafted Payton. You got 4 quarterbacks. How many are going to be active on game day 2? So who's going to get practice reps? Because really your first team quarterback gets all the reps. Sometimes your backup gets reps. Sometimes he does not. And then whoever is left, sometimes that backup runs the scout team or a third quarterback. Now you got 4. It's easy to say, well, you could just get rid of one of them, but that one would be Dalton. But they're in bed with him contractually for decent money, even though I believe the Panthers are picking up half of it. So I don't know how it's going to work out. I've been trying to figure it out in my own head. I suppose there's a shot that Dalton gets traded. I suppose there's a shot McKee gets traded. There's still a chance that somebody gets hurt in training camp and a quarterback demand, gets up there. Just like years and years ago when Teddy Bridgewater got hurt and it led to the Eagles trading Sam Bradford, right? So we sit here right now. I'm just as curious as you to see how it works itself out.
We're talking with Jeff Mosher inside the Birds football at 4. Jeff, one room that very much intrigues me right now is the wide receiver room. Devontae Smith back out at practice today. Darius Cooper seems to have become the darling of training camp, with Mekhi Lemon dealing with some injuries as well. Where is that wide receiver room at? What do you make of Mekhi Lemon missing time? I mean, where's he going to be at with the start of the season coming up here shortly? And Darius Cooper didn't really do much, had a big third down drop in that preseason game on Saturday. What's the wide receiver room looking like?
Yeah, I think Mekhi's going to be close. He's been out for a while, but he's really starting to ramp up what he's been doing in warmups. I'd be kind of surprised if his first time back on the field in a real practice setting is joint practices against the Patriots that are going to be physical and intense, but maybe he does individual work there or some 7-on-7s. I would think the first practice after the Patriots game, as long as everything is going the way things are going, we probably will see him ramp it up more. And then once we do, he's going to get every opportunity to be the quote unquote number 2 wide receiver. But there's no question that Dontavian Wicks and Darius Cooper and even Elijah Moore have had good camps and good rapports. But, let's be realistic. When week 1 happens and the offense jogs out onto the field and they're in, let's say they're in 11 personnel, 3 wide receivers, it's going to be Devontae Smith. It's probably going to be Dontavian Wicks. I'm not sure yet who would be that third receiver, but they're also going to play a lot of 12 personnel. So that would be your 2 wide receivers. I'm sure they'll figure out ways to get Marquise Brown if he's on the team. Some opportunities there. Dallas Goedert is going to be your second in line for targets, though, right? So it's going to be Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. You're going to see a lot of running with Saquon Barkley. So as Adam Kaplan likes to always say, and he's right, we make a big deal about it, this Darius Cooper and Dontavian Wicks and all the guys. They're the 4th and 5th options on a good day. You know what I'm saying? Like when they face the Rams, or somebody has a really good defense and maybe there's only like 31 attempts and 25 completions and 11 to 15 of them to 18 of them go to Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert. We're talking about 5 to 7 targets and passes for everybody else, right? Don't forget the running backs might be catching the ball a little bit more in this offense too. So that's where I'm at with the wide receiver room. It's Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert when healthy. I'm going to call it the pass catcher room, and then everybody else picks up the scraps.
Jeff, looking at the offensive line, I know there's been a lot of discussion about the depth on the O-line, and obviously the injuries were a major concern last year, and they're going to be a major concern heading into this year. The stem cell stuff over the summer, Lane Johnson is probably going to be his last year. What do you make of the depth on the offensive line heading into this year?
Yeah, I think it's better, Nick and Pete.
Okay.
I think. I mean, it should be. I know, Adam and I are big on just not taking anything you see in training camp and making any long-term declarations, but going off of last year, right? Last year, your top guys off the bench were Fred Johnson at tackle, Matt Pryor at sort of swing tackle and then not. And then on the inside, it was Brett Toth, right? Yep. I'm going to go ahead and say that Fred, Mark Hellbell, and Drew Kendall are going to be an upgrade there. Could I be wrong? Sure, but I don't think I'm going to be wrong. So I think you're looking at better depth overall. I mean, you need to be, honestly. They better be, and Mark Bell better be better than Matt Pryor. He's just better. You're a 3rd-round pick.
You hope.
370 pounds, and you're as big as a Mack truck. They're doing the right thing by cross-training him at left tackle, even though he's only going to play right tackle. So that's good there. And then we'll see we can talk about like guys like Willie Lampkin, right, or Micah Morris or Juku, but that's now if we're talking about your fourth and fifth guys off the bench on the O-line, you're not talking about a very good season if those guys have to play. So, but I do think it's important to talk about the first two guys, and I think Fred and Kendall or Fred and Markel, that gives you an upgrade over Fred and Matt Pryor or Fred and Toth.
I guess, Jeff, one word we heard a lot last year in their struggles was the word execution, and they didn't really execute on Saturday night with the penalties and the drops and all that. How important in this offense, Jeff, is execution? When you talk about blocking, timing, moving your feet, quick routes, under center, all that stuff, how important is it for this team to execute something that they just did not do last year?
Yeah, I mean, it's important to execute, no doubt about it. I could borrow an old line from the Bucs coach, John McKay, when he was asked about his team's execution, and he said he was in favor of it. But
that's what I was looking for. That's the kind of stuff I was looking for with the question.
But I'm going to be realistic, and I'm going to be honest. I know a lot of people
because also, Jeff, I mean, Sirianni after the game said we're a work in progress. There's going to be pains.
Yeah, and I believe that. And I've referenced this before with Mike, and even on our Inside the Birds pod. Like, I would not be surprised if you saw a lot of pre-snap penalties, a lot of false starts early on, some holdings or maybe even illegal shifts and motions, because you're doing a lot more of that. And I go back to the Jaguars learning an entirely new offense last year under Liam Cohen. And I don't know if people remember this, because I know they won 13 games and were pretty good, but September was a mess for the Jags. If you go look at them offensively, I mean, Brian Thomas was dropping passes. Trevor Lawrence was one of the lowest rated quarterbacks in the NFL. Their run game was okay. It was nothing great. And they were bogged with penalties. And I would expect that the Eagles, as Nick Sirianni said, are going to have those growing pains early on. And I'm very anxious to see if the fan base can be, patient with it. It's not typically something that we associate with our fan base and our media as well. So we'll see. But, if the Eagles start slow, it wouldn't shock me. But obviously, just like 2024, it's going to be how you fit it from October on is how you play. And like the Jags last year, they were really good come November, December. I mean, they were really starting to get it. Lawrence was really starting to pop with Parker Washington and his weapons, and the Eagles have better weaponry than the Jaguars do. So once they do get it, it should look good, but I do think it's going to be a little bit slow to begin with.
That's the rational thinking that we were looking for.
Yeah, sorry.
Absolutely. Jeff, one last one for
I'm sure you guys will be really, really rational on Mondays.
Absolutely.
When the Eagles are scoring 16 to 18 points a game, right?
I'm giving them 2 quarters. That's it.
The White Horse RV text line will be blowing up, to say the least. But, Jeff, one more for you as we go into this week and the joint practices at New England. We know everyone's been circling this on their calendar for a preseason week, I should say, leading up to the game. What is your outlook and your expectation surrounding this whole entire week?
My outlook and my expectation. I think you'll see – I think the cool thing about practicing against the Patriots is – they are always well prepared, well coached. I mean, when I say always, under Mike Vrabel especially. Vrabel is going to have his guys ready to go, be prepared. He is a good coach. They'll be well coached. You're playing against a pretty good defense there that you're going to have joint practices against. So I think that's going to be another great test for this work in progress offense. And, starters aren't going to play in the preseason game. So they'll script up some really good situational periods, red zone, third down, move the ball, and it'll be exciting. And I imagine because both of these coaches are real sticklers on discipline and not letting things get out of hand, that, there'll be some scraps, but they'll be taken care of really quickly.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating. I know DeCecco's going up there as well to Boston for this week. But, Jeff, thank you so much for joining us on Football at 4. And you got, 13, 14 more days of your belated birthday and your birthday month. All right, so enjoy.
Birthday month. Can I make it a birthday year? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Why not?
Nothing
right?
wrong with
My
that.
birthday evening. I love it.
Go have yourself a steak tonight,
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
Go
I'll
enjoy
do
it.
that.
Jeff, thanks so much, man. We appreciate it.
You got it, fellas. Take care.
All right, Jeff Mosher, Inside the Birds, Football at 4, which is brought to you by Ocean Casino Resort, the best place for game days. The Fanatic Sportsbook at Ocean Casino's Gallery, Bar, Book, and 2 game day destination. Great stuff from Mosher, as always. But you know what we got coming up next? We got the Nuggets.
And a slice of pizza.
And a slice of jerky. All right. Is it a slice? I don't know. Is it, you call it a piece of jerky a slice? We're going to have a nice
Snap it
platter.
to a Slim Jim.
Yeah, we'll have a nice platter coming up. We'll talk some Eagles, Phils, Sixers coming up in the 5 o'clock hour as well. Oscar Buttigieg, Phillies fastball, 5 p.m. tonight. So you're going to want to stay tuned for that. But coming up next, it's the Nuggets, a nice platter. Myself, Pete G, Josh Heading, next, 97.3 ESPN.
You're listening to the Sports Bash with Mike Gill
And if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you.
on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app. LeBron James plays here.
Here's James for three. Got it. LeBron James knocks it down.
97.3 ESPN. Sixers.
We are back live at the Fanatics Sportsbook Ocean Casino Resort. I am Nick Earnshaw, filling in for Mike Gill today. Pete G riding shotgun. Josh Henning back at the studio, and it's time for Nick's Nuggets. And we're going to do a platter today, a nugget for me, a slice of pizza for Pete, and a slice of jerky. I guess you could say a slice of jerky from Josh Henning in just a sec. But I did want to get to today's Phillies lineup for 1 second as they put it out just a little while ago. And today's Phillies lineup is brought to you by Josh 13 every season now open. Fantasy football season is here. Book your fantasy football league draft at Josh's 13 above Villa Rafiki in Absecon for just $20 a person. Your draft package includes great food and cold beer. Josh's 13 proud from 97.3 ESPN. Phillies lineup today is Schwarber leading off the agent. Trey Turner back in the lineup today playing short. Harper in right field batting third. Arise batting fourth playing second base. Ball batting fifth playing first base. Sixth Scott will be over at third. Brandon Marsh out in left field. He will be batting seventh. Real Muto batting eighth behind Dish. Crawford will be in center field batting ninth. Christopher Sanchez is on the mound. Turner's back. He's back in the lineup today. So I want to start off the Nuggets with something Sixers. All right? And the Sixers made another move to their front office, Mr. PG, over the weekend. And I don't think anyone's really talking about it because, Bob Myers is president of sports, Harris Blitzer and entertainment. And Mike Gill is the president of basketball operations. They have Nelson in there, etc. But the Sixers hired Tommy Valsidis to their front office. They took them from the Denver Nuggets, okay? So, per Michael Scotto of Hoop Type, the Sixers are hiring Tommy Valsidis as the new head of basketball intelligence, analytics, and innovation. He was the assistant general manager to the Denver Nuggets. He spent 12 years and won a championship there with the Nuggets as their assistant GM. He's going to be the lead voice on analytics. So for all my numbers people and analytics people, the Sixers hire another new face of the front office and just continue to overhaul this entire team.
It's the Bob Myers effect, right? I mean, this is Bob Myers written all over it.
Bring in more
smart people. Yeah, I mean, 4 brains are better than 1. That's what I always say. But, Daryl Morey, he's an analytics guy, and he's out of here.
Yep.
So, that's one way to look at it.
He is, I'm reading on Liberty Ballers right now, he is most notably credited with an analysis that identified Aaron Gordon as one of the league's top defenders against opposing alphas. Denver traded for him, and he was an instrumental piece in that role to win a championship with Denver. So you get another smart guy in here. You made all these moves. The Sixers are actually making every right move and pushing every right button for once, Josh Henning. I'm so thrilled about this. No one's talking about it. You brought in another analytics guy who just crunches the numbers, head of intelligence. If you're a head of intelligence, I'm in love with you. I like the Sixers bringing in smart people finally for once and just overhauling everything and getting all the bad out and bringing all new. I love it, Josh. Love it.
All right, I got to push back on this a little bit. Okay, first of all, just because someone is an analytics expert doesn't mean that they're intelligent. Okay,
he's the director of intelligence.
Yeah, well, guess what? The CIA is a lot of those.
Right?
The CIA is a lot of those guys, and we've got some information that's come out. Those people are not as good as you thought they were.
This guy's a champion. He's a champion. He's the one who said, "Go get Aaron Gordon." Like if he can make those minor and advise Mike Gansey and Bob Myers on those minute deals at the deadline, etc., find value in guys to help this team win a championship. I'm all for it. I'm in.
To me, it's got Bob Myers written all over. This is the Bob Myers.
Yeah, I think that's what this is more about. Okay, to me, this is more about not about their intelligence or not. Okay, no one disputed Daryl Morey was a smart guy. It's just how he used that intelligence in doing basketball decisions. What I like about this is The Sixers are saying we tried to do things a certain way for about 5 years. It didn't work out the way we wanted. Now we got to go in a different direction. So you have Bob Myers, you go build your front office. All right. I had Brendan Scoopy Robinson on a couple of weeks ago about this. He talked about how a lot of people around the NBA love Bob Myers. They love Jameer Nelson. There's a ton of guys who respect Mike Gansey. People in Cleveland didn't want Gansey to leave Cleveland, okay? There was people who thought that Gansey would be the parent to Kobe Altman whenever he left. So to me, it's less about who the director of intelligence is than is it the fact that, hey, the Sixers are making a very overt message to the rest of the league. We tried to do things for 5 years. It didn't work. Now we're moving in a different direction. That's why I like it. I like it because they're not trying to recycle and run it back. They're not doing the Dave Dombrowski method. They're saying, you know what? We got to do things differently than we've been doing it. And you know what that landed you? It landed you Jaylen Brown and LeBron James.
Yep. Listen, all kidding aside, I am with you, Josh. I like that they're just taking a whole new approach to everything, building the roster, and going for it. The Sixers have opened themselves to a 2 to 3 year window to go win a title. And that's what it's about in the NBA. You've had a different champion for how many years in a row now, right? So you go and do what you need to do. If you need to change philosophies, offload a Paul George contract, bring in a Jaylen Brown, bring in a LeBron James, go get a Dean Wade, bring in a new head of basketball intelligence and innovation into this team. I am all for it because this team has done things the wrong way for years and years and years. It just hasn't panned out. Something weird has happened, or you have burner accounts, whatever. They're bringing in a whole new type of system, new ways to look at things, and I think it's the right move just overall to bring in new voices. I'm all for it. And you're bringing in champions. Mike Gansey, champion. Bob Myers, champion. The new head of basketball intelligence, analytics, and innovation, champion. They're bringing in champions, not guys who were sons of other guys who were in front offices before, okay? That is what I'm all for. You're bringing in champions. That's what it is. That's the difference. They're winning. They're bringing in winning mentalities into this front office, and I love it. Love it.
What Nick's trying to say nicely is less nepotism, more qualified individuals.
Less losers.
Less losers. Yes. I don't want any more losers here. I want winners. Guys who have done it and held that Larry O'Brien high and have been going down parade routes for years and years. I'm all in. There's nugget number one. Top that. All right, top that.
All right. Slice of pizza.
Good luck, Pete.
Another Sixers.
Wow.
Whoa. Another Sixers thing.
Well, I brought this up earlier on the show.
By the way, before you start, I printed out the entire schedule so Pete G and I could see it and just look at it in amazement during the commercial breaks. If you're watching on the X platform YouTube, I got the whole schedule printed out right there. Bang. Go ahead. Sorry.
All right. So, per tick pick, in case you missed it earlier, 9 out of the 10 most expensive NBA games this season involve the Philadelphia 76ers. While that's all well and good, you know, we love the national TV spotlight. We love the hype. It's fun. But are you starting to get concerned that maybe guys like you and I and Henning, are we getting priced out of a Sixers game to where we can't go up in even the nosebleeds and be a little rowdy, and the diehards are just getting priced out? Those guys sitting behind the basket imploring Ben Simmons to shoot the ball. Are those guys going to be at the game anymore? Or is it going to turn into, you know, Golden State Warriors, Tech Monkey, you know, that kind of an atmosphere? I hope not. It is Philly, but you know, these tickets are way out of my league.
Can I say something that Josh might be surprised I'm going to say because of my deep disdain for this franchise? We are turning into MSG South, literally.
Yeah, Golden State Warriors, the Tech Money, MSG South.
You know what I mean? Like, because do you know how expensive it is to go to Madison Square Garden? Like, I went last year to the Sixers-Knicks game in December. The Sixers won that game. It was $250. $250. That's like $1,000. And the same thing's now going to happen at Xfinity Mobile Arena. And listen, I'm not going to complain.
No,
you got Jaylen Brown.
You got LeBron James.
You got LeBron James. You have a real chance to win a title. But damn it, these prices are too much. I got to go to a game.
Listen, first of all, are you going to do that?
I haven't decided yet.
Or are you just going to sit on your couch, lay down when you want, go to the bathroom when you want?
I'm not 30 yet, Pete, all right? I'm not 30 yet.
Well, as the guy who is in my 40s over here, I will say that to Pete's point, I've been outpriced by the tickets for a very long time when it comes to Philadelphia sports. It is only through the generosity of others I've gotten to go to any games in the last several years. So, listen, I think Pete, you made a great point. This is turning into an environment where they don't care about the fans. They just want to make money. And because, like you mentioned, the Warriors became a happening. You had to be there to be seen. Sixer games that started becoming that a couple of years ago. It will continue to be that on next level. You're going to see there's going to be Celebrity Row at Sixer games. You're going to be tuning in to listen to Kate Scott rattle off who's in the crowd instead of telling you the score of the game. Okay, that's what's going to happen.
M. Night is going to be front row.
You're going to see Shane Gillis down there. Gillis. Kevin Hart's going to be back.
I think more than that. You're going to see more than you just mentioned guys who have been there for years. Okay, we saw Kevin Hart and Shane Gillis when the Sixers weren't even that great.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, you're going to see them more.
You're going to see people that you forgot.
Yep.
That were even from the Philadelphia
Will Smith
area.
Comes back?
Of course. That's the first guy who's coming
back.
back. He's going to be getting jiggy with it in the stands.
He'll be ringing the bell.
Yeah, he's got to ring the bell. It's a shame that the prices have gone to that level where it's like, because Pete, we went to a game before and it was like $20. Like I was going to, when I would do all the nosebleeds, this is full disclosure, I would buy tickets like the day of games. I didn't have season tickets, nothing like that. I would check the prices. They'd be float right around $20, $25 when they would be playing a bad team. And that's how I would go to all these games and sit up in the bleed because they were $20. I could afford it. And then, a family of four could afford it.
Right, that's another point. It's family of four.
Now it's just like, how are you going to be able to go to these games when it's like $200 to sit up in the bleeds? It's craziness. I have a feeling they might come down at some point because remember, LeBron and Joel aren't going to play every game, so that's going to bring the prices down day of when they're listed out.
Well, I was going to say,
but then you miss out on seeing LeBron James.
I know. That's the problem.
That's the problem. I don't care about seeing Dean Wade play. I want to see LeBron James play, man. Right?
Well, it's also part of the reason why so many of those games are on prime time. It's the NBA's way of forcing LeBron. Hey, LeBron, gotta play this game. It's in prime time. Darn it, I gotta play it. I will say, tough. What I'm referring to though also is the celebrity nature of counter programming. Okay, so now every time there's a game on prime time at ESPN, you're going to see like celebrities who are a part of this ABC show or this Disney movie, or like you're going to see like, hey, why is Ryan Reynolds at this game? Because of the next Avengers movie is coming out. Like, why do you see Kat Dennings at the Sixers game because she's on some ABC show that nobody watches? Like that's what's going to happen now. Is that every Sixers game is going to have some rando. You'll be like, why is Kat Dennings there? Oh, well, Kat Dennings is from the Philadelphia area. But why does it matter? Because her show is coming up after the game tonight.
Yeah. Adam Silver could not be more thrilled that LeBron James is back on the East Coast. He can't be more thrilled. 34, nationally televised games for the Sixers.
The maximum.
ESPN, Prime, Peacock.
Oh, it's another one. It's a great job by you, Nick. Yep. How many people will be at Sixer games because debuting on Prime next week?
Yeah. Yeah. Listen.
It's a lot of Mike Tirico, Reggie Miller, Mike Green is what you're telling me.
I got it.
Yep.
I got the schedule.
Tim Legler.
And remember, you're going to have all these different, all these different, what are they, platforms, I guess you could say. Streaming platforms, excuse me.
That's right.
You're going to have to buy all these streaming platforms. And by the way, the Eastern Conference Finals is going to be all on Prime.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
All the Eastern
this
Conference.
Year.
So if the Sixers get to the Eastern Conference Finals, which I am praying, and we better hope for, and we expect, you got to have Prime.
You know who's going to have a lot of trouble with that?
Gill?
No.
The
Schweiner.
How's the Schweiner going to watch the conference finals?
He's going to be coming over your house.
He's going to call me because he lives like 10 minutes from me. And, thanks to everyone who listened, by the way, to my last show with Schwein on Saturday. Yeah, he's going to be calling me. I might have to go over middle of the night and figure it out for Schleim to get his dumb TV set up.
Oh, wow.
He's got a dumb TV, and he's going to have trouble setting that up.
You're better off just buying him a new TV.
Yeah,
because
you
they're
know
so
what?
cheap nowadays.
You know what? I might give him one of my TVs.
Yeah,
because
just give him one.
He's got a dumb TV over there. He was having trouble with the Netflix over the weekend.
He didn't watch it. He didn't watch the Field of Dreams.
Yeah, he told me that.
You would think that would have been right up Billy's alley.
I said, Billy, me and Billy watched Seinfeld together, and I showed him that his daughter literally logged in to Netflix on it's actually a smart TV down the shore, and he couldn't figure it out. I was very highly disappointed because I showed him all the instructions. All right, there you go. Heading, what do you got? What slice of jerky do we have?
Well, apparently we're sticking with the NBA today.
Oh, 3 straight?
3 straight NBA, but it's not about the Sixers. So big news coming out of the NBA today. So you might have heard about the recent development that the Lakers were sold again recently.
Oh, I did see this.
But the latest news is not just being sold, but as of 2027, for the first time in almost 50 years, the Buss family will no longer be involved with the Lakers. As confirmed by the Buss family in a statement to ESPN's Shams Charania, they have decided to sell their remaining 7.5% of the Lakers as part of the $12.5 billion sale. Now, for those who don't know, this is a very controversial news story because it takes at least 4 of the 6 Buss children who own the team stake to vote it out. It was literally a 4-6 vote, which means Jeannie Buss will no longer be the managing partner and team governor as the next calendar year. So for the first time since the 1970s, a person with the last name Buss from the Buss family will no longer be operating the Lakers. And according to speculation from different sources, it looks like this was a spite vote by Jim Buss and some of the other siblings to force Jeannie out of no longer being the team governor.
Wow. Yeah, the Lakers situation, Josh, is fascinating to me because you have Mark Walter, who was the majority owner of the Lakers.
Correct.
He is also under investigation, which is probably why, and people are kind of putting the puzzle pieces together as to why he sold his shares under 2 years of owning the team in the first place. So that whole ownership group out in LA, I mean, it is one big drama Hollywood fest out there. Jeannie Buss, the family don't like each other. That's been kind of well documented over the years. You bring up the spite vote, and now Mark Walter being under federal investigation by the SEC, probably gonna have to pay a lot of money. Sells his shares of the team. The Lakers.
When did you sell his share?
situation.
He had full ownership, as you said,
Yeah.
Nick, of the
Yeah.
team, and
Yep.
now he will no longer be owning the Lakers. It'll be basically Josh Kushner and Bob Iger. And according to reports now, because Jeannie is getting rid of being forced out, Bob Iger looks like he is going to be in line to be the new governor running the Lakers.
So it's going to be Disney-fied.
Yeah.
It's going to be Disneyland, Disney World all over
Laker
it.
fans are not happy, Pete.
Well, I mean, they were sold for what, $12.5 billion?
$12.5 billion.
He made about $2
That's
billion
unbelievable.
Yeah,
in 2 years.
And this is without LeBron James on the team, by
Yes.
the way.
Well,
I mean, how many millions or billions is LeBron James?
I'm glad
worth
you
to a
brought
team?
that up, Pete. I'm
There
glad
you
you brought
go.
that up
Yep.
because LeBron there is reporting out there that he might have even considered staying with the Lakers if this if the team was sold before
the report
LeBron left.
The
Yep.
speculation out
the
there.
timeline is interesting, right?
The speculation that LeBron knew about Mark Walter getting rid of the team.
Yep.
And when he found out there might be a possibility that the Buss family is no longer going to run the team, that's part of the reason why he wanted out of town.
Right, because the narrative is that the Lakers kind of cut bait with LeBron instead of the other way around, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The story is that LeBron actually told them,
Yep.
I'm
Yeah.
leaving.
That it's crazy.
So that is kind of a messy breakup, huh?
Yeah, it's a disaster out there, and they've made a ton of different moves. to rehash this team with LeBron leaving. I still think they'll be relatively competitive.
Yeah, I mean, now it's Luka's team, right? I mean, now there's no more LeBron. It's Luka's team.
Luka, Austin Reeves.
Yep.
A lot of white guys.
There is absolutely out there in La La Land. Yeah. Listen, it's gonna be La La Land for sure with Bob Iger, the former Disney CEO, as he stepped down after going back to Disney. Now he's
that's already process already started.
Yeah.
So Bob Iger started the process. He is out at Disney at the end of this year.
Yeah, he left, right? Yep.
He's pretty much done. He handed it off to the next CEO. So he's pretty much out. And I mean, he's technically still involved because apparently he still has some stake in Disney, apparently.
Yeah, as they all do.
He had apparently part of the deal was he's now a part shareholder. Because that's a whole nother story. Apparently it has to do with when Steve Jobs died. There's a bunch of voided stock options and it's a whole mess. Disney's a mess. The Lakers are a mess. They're all a mess.
It is one big mess.
Well, again, the timeline of LeBron leaving and the Lakers being sold, that's not a coincidence.
No,
I can't imagine.
Not at all.
No.
It's always something. It always all ties together somehow, some way.
Pete, I'm glad you brought up the LeBron part because remember, LeBron has been very vocal in saying when he retires, he wants to have ownership in an NBA team.
Yep. Yes, he does.
So you have to wonder, did maybe this whole Lakers thing realize to him, I ain't getting a stock in the Lakers? Did maybe Josh Harris tell him, I'll help you get some ownership stake when you retire?
Well, now you're really putting on that tinfoil cap. See what 2029
I mean, LeBron is friends with Michael Rubin. I'm just saying.
Listen, there's a possibility. You know, it could happen. It
greasy
could be a
handshakes
thing.
going on.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
A lot of grease. A lot of cheesesteak grease.
We'll see how it all shakes out. By the way, final nugget before we get out of here. LeBron started a YouTube channel over the weekend.
I saw
Did
that.
you see that?
Golfing, yeah.
I loved him.
Is he good though? I know he's a big golfer and he golfs all the time, but
he's a new golfer. He's a new golfer.
Okay, so he's probably
very
not
new.
that good.
Very new.
So you could be even better than
maybe.
he is. Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe.
I've seen you out on the course.
Yeah. I'm not terrible.
Well, did
I
you
can
see the
drive
one?
it straight?
Did you see the one part where LeBron was mad at J.R. Smith because J.R. Smith is actually really good at golf?
Yes.
And J.R. Smith is like, "You're gonna try to be like me," and he's like, "F that."
Yeah. It's great. It's like about an hour and a half vlog of them just golfing the whole entire time. 2016.
I actually can't wait till LeBron retires and it's just all golfing.
All golfing. 609-403-0973 if you want to jump in on the White Horse RV text board. Coming up next, we have Phillies fastball. Oscar Budajin joins me on the other side. This is the Sports Bash with Nick Earnshaw, Pete G, and Josh Heading. 97.
The Birds are back. Catch Philadelphia Eagles preseason football as the Eagles get ready for the 2026 season. Heading to Foxborough to face the AFC champion Patriots. Saturday night. Pre-game coverage starts at 6 with Merrill Reese and Mike Quick calling all the action starting at 7.
He takes his drop. He's looking. He's grabbed. They're going to sack him and throw him down at the 23-yard line. Jalen Carter.
This is South Jersey's radio home of the Philadelphia Eagles. 97.3 ESPN.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
John always listens to his truck. So when his brakes start talking, he goes to AutoZone, where a helpful AutoZoner gets him the right parts. If John has time to put them in, he borrows a kit with Loan-A-Tool. And if he doesn't, he gets a free shop referral. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool. Restrictions apply.
Home of the Sports Bash with Mike Gill, 97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. This is the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN and the Now live from inside the Ocean Casino Resort Studio, here's Mike Gill.
Welcome back in. It is the Sports Bash. We are live from the Fanatics Sportsbook and Ocean Casino's Gallery Bar, Book, and Games. Nick Earnshaw alongside Pete G filling in for Mike Gill today. Josh Henning back at the studio. And it is now time for today's Phillies Fastball, brought to you by Ventnor Social. It's the place to go to catch every Phillies game on their 20 big screen TVs while enjoying great foods and drink. Visit their Facebook page for up-to-date info and specials, plus the Sports Bash with Mike Gill broadcasting live on location on Ventnor Ave in Ventnor. Those are great times, as always, watching those Phillies games at Ventnor Social. Now time for Phillies Fastball. Oscar Buttigieg joins the program. A lot to get into with the Fightins, Oscar, because, listen, they're on a little bit of a heater since Iowa, right? Like, the offense seemingly has come alive here. As of late, Alec Bohm, big weekend for him. Oscar, what do you make of the Phils since that Iowa game in the Field of Dreams out in the corn?
Nick, Pete, how are you guys? George, pleasure to be here once again. This was it was a tale of two different Phillies teams. I mean, the first one last week, we go to play the Cardinals in St. Louis. We win the first game 6-5, but then we forget how to hit. I mean, we get one run in 2 games. I mean, we go 1 for 15, 1 for 18 with runners in scoring position. And then suddenly we hit the Field of Dreams in Iowa, and it's a completely different team. Kyle Schwarber plays hero ball. And then we go out, wins the game easily with Luzardo, pitching a tremendous game. And then we get Painter. He allows 4 runs in the first inning. And I said, this is not looking good. And then suddenly the bats woke up. I mean, I was impressed. It was one of the best comeback victories the entire year for this team. Alec Bohm apparently woke up. I mean, I don't know what to believe. I mean, to be honest with you, Alec is such an interesting guy. I mean, has all the potential physically in the world, but he somehow hasn't put together. But his start has 1,008 of OPS in the month of August. And Alec Bohm have 952. So if those two guys hit, it expands the entire lineup, and it's a different game. I mean, it's Schwarber can do his thing, Harper can do his thing, and then Arias, we got Arias now, and then if you have a Stott and Bohm doing their thing, I mean, it just expands the whole lineup, and it's a much different. And we scored total 14, 23 runs in 2 games with 9 extra base hits. I mean, it's a different team.
Yeah, it's most definitely a different team since they've gotten back from Iowa. And, you know, we started the show today, Oscar, talking about the Phillies and this team. And do you trust them heading down the stretch? They have one of the hardest schedules in baseball coming up through the month of September. They've been up and down. The peaks and valleys of this team are so evident throughout the year. Is this a team you trust to stay on a heater throughout the month of September and heading into October? I just don't know if I see it. Do you?
I was telling Judge last week, look, this team has the names. This team has the guys that you look at the back of their trading card, you say they have a chance. I mean, when you have Harper, when you have Schwarber, when you have Wheeler, when you have somebody like Duran coming out of the bullpen, you say, you know what? There are enough players here in that Arias now that it's a completely different hitter than whatever we have in the lineup. You say, you know what? We do have a chance. The bigger question is this team is too inconsistent, and that's kind of the reality of it. And when you look at our hitting, we're 15th scoring runs, and we're 9th hitting home runs. But the problem is, when you start looking at it, is we're 23rd in baseball in the amount of strikeouts that we get. We're in the bottom third in terms of base on balls that we get. So this team doesn't get on base. I mean, we were until 3 weeks ago that Arias got here, we were the worst team in baseball getting on base. But you know what? Our OPS with runners in scoring position is second in baseball at 790. So what happens is we don't get enough runners on base. So you're expecting the only way you win if you slug, and it's very, very hard to win games that way. I gave you the perfect example. The Phillies happened yesterday in the first inning. What happened? Schwarber hits a double. Then what happened? Stott pops up. Then Harper hits a fly ball that if he would have advanced the guy to third base, he would have scored, and the game would have been 1-0 at the time in the first inning. We just don't produce runs. And you need, in order to win baseball games against the best teams, you need to produce runs. And by the way, this team is 23-30 versus team that are about 500. So we're winning the easy games. We're 43-28 versus team below 500, but we're 23-30 against teams about 500. So if you ask me, I think the names are there. The windows have significantly narrowed, but look, we have a chance. That's the only thing that you can ask, is having a chance. This team, to me, is better than 2022 when we made the World Series.
Yeah, I mean, this is a team that if they get hot, they look like the best team in baseball. And then when they're really having trouble, they look like the worst team in baseball. It's like there's no in-between with the Philadelphia Phillies. And I'm glad you brought some of those numbers up, because heading into the month of August, lowest OBP in Major League Baseball, second highest chase rate in Major League Baseball heading into the month of August. Since then, they lead baseball in on-base percentage and in walk rate. They have a different approach at the plate. Alec Boehm talked about it after the game on Saturday when he had 5 hits for the first time in his career. First time this year, he had 4 hits in a game with those 3 doubles along with it. The approach at the plate seems to have changed a little bit, which excites me heading down the stretch here. And I'm hoping this spark that they caught in Iowa stays lit throughout the month of September and into October. But the one thing that is really I've had a hard time with is the fundamentals of this team, Oscar. It's something they've struggled with over the years, whether it's base running, errors, defense, etc. That's something that really concerns me, because when you try and win a World Series, you got to win on the margins, and those little mistakes can cost you mightily, and we saw it in the Dodgers series last year. Those type of things I just hope get a little bit cleaned up by October.
We're going to get Pete excited here, what I'm going to say right now. Look, I put this chart together. I know you won't see it today, but basically what I do, let me just put it up.
Bring out the iPad. It's all good.
Yeah, we're working out of the iPad. But this chart show you who the Phillies are. Look how much red and how much green is in there. This is month by month. I mean, I won't ask you to read it, but bottom line, this team is the most strange team that I've ever faced. Look, when you look at their numbers on a monthly basis, it's just bizarre. I mean, it's a completely bizarre team. In one day, I mean, 1 month you have the 4th best pitching ERA in all baseball. The next month you're 27. Then the next month you're leading the league, or you're number 2 in baseball in terms of the number on OPS. The next month you're 27th. I mean, it's just all over the place. I mean, it's just so inconsistent, this team, the way they play the game, that it's just mind-boggling, to be honest with you. Just mind-boggling. So, look, in the month of April, we had a 4.67 ERA, 25th in baseball. In May, 3.19, 4th in baseball. In the month of June, we're middle of the pack, 4.20. In July, 26 in baseball in ERA, and now in August, we're 8th in baseball. So it's like a roller coaster. And the same thing with the hitting. I mean, the OPS 695, 698 goes up to 778, 9th in baseball, then goes down to 22nd, and now we're 6th in the month of August. It's all over the place. I mean, it's very, very hard to understand, to figure it out, this team.
Oscar, let me ask you about Aaron Nola. Had a really good start in Iowa. 9 strikeouts, 5 innings, 1 earned run, only that home run that we saw. I mean, the long ball is a problem. It's been a problem all year, but has Don really found a sweet spot maybe for Nola in this rotation, where gives us 5 innings, gives up 2 runs, and then he gets them out of there? Is that something that you can maybe rely on in the month of September, and maybe even a game 4 if we get that far?
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I mentioned to Mike, that I've been talking to Mike since the very beginning, were the struggles of Nola. Look, Nola has been one of the best Phillies that we've had over the last decade and plus. He's been one thing when you find a pitcher of that caliber is they need to reinvent themselves. There's going to be a point in time where they need to reinvent themselves. I mean, that's That's the beauty of baseball. He doesn't have the fastball he used to have, but now 7 out of the last 8 outings, he's allowing 3 or less runs. That's all you want from Nola. I mean, that's all you want from Nola. Look, he has a problem with the long ball. He's the worst starter in all of baseball. He's allowed 30 home runs. I think 30 or 31 home runs he's allowed the entire year. So he's the worst starting pitching in baseball, allowing home runs. But beyond that, one thing that I appreciate on him, when he allows the home runs, the majority of them are just solo shots. So you can live with that. You can live with that. What you cannot live is the 2 or the 3 run homers that get you in deep trouble. So I am fine with Nola being the 4th starter on this team. I'm more worried about what version of Painter we're going to get down the road than I am about Nola. I think Nola is okay now. It's not going to be elite. He's not going to, he pitched really well the other day. The other thing is the management. One thing that concerns me about the Phillies is the management of the bullpen. There's a lot of inconsistency, not only in the bullpen, but how it's being managed. Nola has 89 pitches. He could go another inning. Why pull him out? I mean, he's allowed 1 run. Leave him in. You don't need to risk it. We ended up winning the game 7-1, but in the past, we've taken Nola either too early or too late. And you have to that part, that's one thing about Mattingly that I feel we're missing, which is the timing of moving the going to our bullpen. I mean, that is something that we need to significantly improve and have a better synchronization if we're going to have a deep run in the postseason.
Oscar, you invoked Andrew Painter's name, so I want to ask you about this. Looking ahead to the postseason, saying they make it and they're fine, they get in through the wild card, which is most likely what would happen if they do get into the postseason. What is Andrew Painter's role on a postseason roster heading into this year? Because is he a guy that can pitch 2 innings? Do you trust him to pitch 2 innings, like in a pocket in the 7th, 8th inning, 6th inning if you need be? What is his role looking like if they get to October?
I don't think anybody knows yet. I don't think anybody knows, and I think it will depend on what happened, what version of Andrew Painter we get from here till the end of September. I would say he's fighting for Sugar to be in the postseason roster. So he might, remember, he could be in the roster, but you might not activate him. Remember, you got extra players and all that, a couple players extra. So he might not be activated. I don't know yet. I don't know yet. Look, I think his slider, his changeup are promising, or his sweeper and his changeup look promising. The command of his fastball is the biggest issue. Look, Painter was brought here because he could throw heat, and he hasn't been the same pitcher. He doesn't control. You saw it yesterday. Yesterday was so strange. First inning, you throw the guy a slider, and the guy put it in foul ball. He put it in the foul ball. He put it in the right field.
I was screaming at the television.
He throws
Oscar.
the same. A very similar pitch. Very similar pitch in the same location.
Grand slam.
He put it in the bleachers and you're down 4-zip. Come on, guys, what are you doing? Pitch selection. I don't know who's. I don't think it's like Painter. I think it's somebody either Ramuto or from the bench. Yeah. So come on, guys. Let's be smarter about that. Throw him a fastball above the strike zone and see if he goes for that. But to me, the command of his fastball is going to be, to me, what is going to decide if he makes the post game roster, assuming that we make the playoffs. We're in the middle of a war with the Padres and Arizona. I do believe that we're better than Arizona. I don't necessarily think we're better than the Padres. I do believe the Padres did an outstanding job, the GM of the Padres, getting Mice, which had a great outing yesterday, as well as Gray, Ray. They got 2 very good pitchers, and we didn't get any. So I thought we missed a right-handed bat in the outfield, and also we missed a quality starter, and Casey Mice would have been a tremendous acquisition for the Phillies, and we didn't get him. So,
Oscar, over the weekend, we saw a report from Bob Nightingale saying that Alex Cora is really the front runner, and it's almost a done deal that Cora is going to be the next manager of the Phillies unless Mattingly leads the team to a World Series, and even then you can make a case that Cora could still be the manager. Is that fair to Donnie Baseball at this point? Where does that come from, do you think? I mean, the timing is kind of poor when they just come off a sweep of the Twins, but I guess what's your thought on that leaking out here on a random weekend in August?
The leaking is the inconsistent part. I mean, the leaking part, because we already heard. I mean, they already offered the job to Alex Cora. I mean, he offered the job to Alex Cora when Rob Thompson was the manager. I mean, he offered over a weekend and tried to convince him to come here, and he decided he wanted to have the summer with his family, which I think is a smart thing to do for Alex. But look, to me, is disrespectful for Mattingly. I'm not a huge fan, to be honest with you, since the very beginning. And you could go back to the shows, the Phillies fastball of the beginning of the year. I wanted to give Topper 10 more games before they let him go. They made the decision that it was time to make a change, and I understand why they made the change. I think Rob Thompson probably at this is a better manager than Don Mattingly, in my opinion. That is, for this team. I mean, this team is unique. This team has a lot of older guys and a lot of that. But look, the reality is Alex Cora is probably going to be the manager. I think it's disrespectful of Don Mattingly throwing that news in the middle of a potential pennant race that he's going to enter. Right? You go to the World Series or you're out.
And I guess my follow-up to that would be, is Alex Cora the right guy for this clubhouse, for these veterans, for this window possibly closing in the next, year or two? I guess your thoughts on Alex Cora, because he kind of had a messy breakup in Boston, getting fired in April. I guess your thoughts on Alex Cora and how he would manage this clubhouse full of guys.
Alex Cora is a great manager. I mean, Dombrowski has compared him to the Lelands of this world and some of the best La Russas of this world. He believes he's a Hall of Famer manager. He managed the Red Sox in a very tough market in Boston. I do believe he's going to do a really good job here if he becomes the manager of the team. Now, there is a domino effect here that needs to happen. The first one is Dombrowski needs to get a new contract. And then immediately after Dombrowski gets a new contract, because of the relationship that Middleton and Dombrowski have, you're probably going to see Alex Cora as a manager next year for the Phils. Now, the question, look, there's no manager that can fix the issues the Phillies have. The Phillies has a players issue. I know that we're getting rid of the Castellanos, the Taiwan Walkers, and the Alec Bohm's contracts of this world, but then you're paying Luzardo, you're paying Christopher Sanchez, and you're probably going to have to bring a new third baseman because Adam Miller is not going to be ready. So it's going to be very interesting what happens in the offseason with the Phillies. I do believe they're probably going to re-sign Arias, but that means that they're going to probably they're going to bring Harper back to first base, and then maybe, this is the time they're going to have to make to me, the most important decision they need to make is moving Trey Turner to the outfield. And then you can play Stott at least for a year as shortstop, and I'm fine with that. Having a Stott there would be very, very important. Then you find a third baseman, and then you have a much better lineup with a quality third baseman than what we have going right now.
Oscar Buttigieg, Pete G, Nick Earnshaw here for Phillies Fastball on the Sports Bash, filling in for Mike Gill today. Oscar, looking ahead, right now the Phillies will have a 6-game homestand coming up against the Marlins tonight. They have the Cardinals following that, but then they go on a long West Coast trip. They got the Mariners, then the Angels, and then they got the Diamondbacks. How important is that series, or that road trip, I should say, for the Fights? To me, that's going to decide the season. What we talked with Mike McGarry for the Press of AC earlier, and we were in agreement on that. That's probably going to be a defining moment for this Phillies team coming down the stretch.
This team, part of the strange part of this year's Phillies, we play better on the road than we play at home.
Yep.
So that is, we're 32-30, almost playing 500, and lost 10 series at home, and we're 35-28 on the road. So the road part doesn't worry me too much. I do believe that we need this series, this 6 games that we're going to have here with the Marlins and the Cardinals are going to be very, very important. We cannot be fooling around here. There are 37 games left, or whatever the number of games that are left there. You're going to have to, every game counts here, and you are in a dogfight with the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Padres the rest of the way. I do believe the Padres are going to make the playoff. I do believe they have a great team. And now with these two starters, with Ray and with Mice, they're probably locked it. The questions are going to be can the Phillies hold off the Diamondbacks? And that 3-game series against the Diamondbacks is going to be a dogfight. Look at what happened this weekend. The White Sox were faltering, and they absolutely swept the Detroit Tigers to secure. They're probably going to win the division because they were able to sweep them over the weekend. The Phillies need to do something like that with Arizona the next time they face them.
Yeah, it's going to be a fascinating next month and a half as we roll towards the end. One last one for you, Oscar. The bullpen. That has been a struggle throughout the entirety of the year. Who are your go-to guys? What do you make of McFarland coming up? How is he going to be integrated into this pen as we come down the home stretch?
Look, there are pitchers that you can count on and pitchers you don't necessarily need to count on. I mean, together, the guys that are – your closer is Duran. Outside of Duran, Bolin is the guy that you trust the most. I like Riley. I think the acquisition of Brooke Riley was really, really important. I think he's going to be your top lefty coming out of that pen. I see him putting him in the 6th inning. I want that guy pitching the 8th or pitching the 7th or the 8th inning. That to me is going to be very important how we move forward here. Alvarado has to earn the trust. I mean, it's simple as that. It's based on performance. Same thing with Painter. I mean, he has not been pitching well. He doesn't have command of his pitches, and he needs to find it if he wants to have a role in the postseason. I mean, Kerkering, I would probably after Bolin and Riley, probably Kerkering is the next guy. And I do believe McFarland. I'm going to give McFarland the benefit of the doubt. I love his stuff. I mean, he has a great fastball. I like the location of the fastball. He needs a little better control. Again, he's all pumped up when he's going out there in first couple games of his major league career. But I do love that 100-mile-an-hour fastball. I like and look at the slider. I mean, look at how Buxton looked the other day with that slider. I mean, I like this kid. I like his makeup, and I think this kid can go a long way in helping us make it in the postseason. I do believe he could have a role. He could be like Kerkering. Remember when Kerkering came up, throwing those sweepers that nobody knew how to control those sweepers? I see something like that happening as well.
I hope you're right, Oscar. Listen, the Phils, they got the fish tonight. Struggled in the last series against the Marlins, but Christopher Sanchez on the bump for the fight in 640. Trey Turner back in the lineup after being out yesterday. I couldn't wait to do the Phillies fastball with you today, Oscar. It was a blast. Always love talking ball with you. And appreciate your time today.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Remember, Christopher is a guaranteed. He never loses at home. So hopefully that's a guaranteed win tonight.
I'm going to walk right over to that sports book.
Yeah, go right over there. We're at the Fanatic Sportsbook in Ocean. Pete's going to go lay one down right now.
All right.
Oscar, thanks so much,
guys.
man.
Go Phils.
Appreciate it. All right, there it is. The Phillies Fastball segment, which is brought to you by Ventnor Social. It's the place to go to catch every Phillies game on their 20 big screen TVs while page for up-to-date info and specials, plus the Sports Bash, Mike Gill, that broadcasts live on location at Ventnor Ave in Ventnor. Oh, man, I could talk to Oscar about the Phils for days and days.
He even did a little show and tell with the iPad.
Oh, he had the iPad.
Yeah.
He had the numbers, cracking them down. I mean, it was awesome. I've gotten a chance a couple times to speak with him in the press box a few times going up to the Phillies games a couple years back. He is awesome. But there you go. Phils tonight, 640. Sanchi on the mound. Need a bounce back against those fish after the last series that the Phillies had with them. I am Nick Earnshaw, Pete G, riding shotgun, Josh Henning, back in the studio, filling in for Coach Mike Gill today as we are live from the Fanatic Sportsbook in Ocean Casino Resort. We'll continue with the Phils talk on the other side. And where does Andrew Painter and Aaron Nola fit on this postseason roster? All that and more coming up right here on the Sports Bash.
You're listening to the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
Never thought this radio thing would catch on so big.
On 97.3 ESPN.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season. I think so. Man, I
Hey guys, it's Mike Gill for Clark's Moving and Storage down in Rio Grande. Let me tell you, we did a huge move not too long ago, and honestly, Clark's did a fantastic job. I mean, really fantastic. They moved all my stuff from my Ventnor place on the shore out to the mainland in EHT. Clark's Moving and Storage, they took care of it all from start to finish. Trust their moving company with the finest in storage and moving services. They're one of the largest companies in the area, and you can trust them. Believe me, they got it all done, moved everything, not a scratch, not a dent, not anything. On time, professional. They really did it all. I felt very comfortable and very confident in their team at Clark's Moving and Storage every step of the way. So do what I did and use Clark's Moving for your big move. Call them today, 609-889-0780, or visit them at clarksmoving.net. Clark's Moving is an authorized agent for Wheaton Worldwide Moving, so they can move you across the country or even around the world.
we have the perfect solution for sitting in traffic.
Come with me.
The Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Connection, providing fare free transportation across southern New Jersey. For details, call 856-229-7571 or visit driveless.com.
Oh, we are back. Nicky Nuggets, Earnshaw, Nicky, whatever the hell you want to call me. We're back at the Fanatics Sportsbook. I'm filling in for Mike Gill today. Riding shotgun with me is Cheap Seat Pete G. Josh Henning back in the studio doing a fantastic job on the ones and twos per usual. We're having a blast. Just had our Phillies fastball segment with Oscar Budajin. By the way, I was just talking to Pete and Josh during the break. I could talk baseball with Oscar for hours and hours and hours and hours. That guy is just a knowledge-filled man when it comes to the game of baseball. It's just so much fun. I was so excited to do the fastball segment today with him, and I hope you all enjoyed it out there as well. I still want to continue to talk a little Phillies and reset a little bit here from earlier in the show. We talked about this in the 2 o'clock hour. Do you trust the Phillies heading down the stretch? And my answer to this question was I trust them for about a week or two from this heater that they're on against the Twins. The magic in Iowa, the dinger from Schwarber leading the game off, then getting another one later on in the ball game, the corn maze, all of it. And they go out and sweep the Twins over the weekend. The offense found a burst, 23 runs over the last 3 games. That has been awesome. And I think it lit a spark under this team. I just think that spark's going to fizzle out by mid-September because a couple of reasons. The schedule's pretty tough. It's around, I think, the 5th or 6th hardest schedule left in baseball. Also, I just think this team, and Mike McGarry said in the 2 o'clock hour as well when we had him on, they're consistently inconsistent. They look like the greatest team ever at times, and then they look like the worst team ever at times. And during that fastball segment, yeah, we talked about it with Oscar. Like, they're the weirdest team ever. They're so good some days and so bad other days. The pitching looks fantastic and unbeatable and untouchable. And then the offense looks like the greatest offense and greatest lineup you've ever seen. And then there's other times you're like, what team is this? Like, who is it? What is this team?
You're not wrong. I mean, the one thing that I would say is they seem to be back on track, and a lot of guys deserve credit for that little sweep in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And kind of the feel-good feelings that you got by watching them. I mean, guys like Alec Boehm, Bryson Stott, those guys deserve credit. Even Andrew Painter yesterday gives up the grand slam, we know, but he hung in there. The bullpen, those guys deserve credit. And, you know, are they back? I don't know. What's back?
The B word? You're going to use the B word?
They were 9-19. Then they turned things around. They fired Topper. They hired Mattingly. They really played a great June. Then they come back from the All-Star break, really struggled out of the gates against the Dodgers, the Marlins, the Cardinals series. But to me, they could not the B as back, solo back, but back on track, I'll say.
Oh, they're back on track.
Back on track.
For how long?
Course corrected for the next week or so. We'll see how they go against the Fish and the Cards.
Yeah, they got the Fish tonight, 6:40. Sanchi's on the mound. Trey Turner is back.
But a lot of guys deserve credit. I mean, especially with the arrival of Luis Arraez, they had to change the whole defensive
alignment
around. Bohm's playing first. You know, he had some rough games in there,
but five-hit game on Saturday.
But he had a 5-hit game on Saturday. Bryson
Home
Stott.
run yesterday.
Homer yesterday. Stott had the homer over the weekend. He's played a great third base. That guy could play any position in the infield.
You know, I was a little skeptical.
Were you?
No, me and Gil got into it.
I know Gil
got into it.
Gil was not worried one bit.
You know, he's not here, and I hope he's not listening.
He could be listening.
He got me on
What's
that
up,
one.
Gil? Shout out to A Shore.
He got me on that one. By the way, they did win their game today, 2-0. So Coach Gill got a dub on the where are they at again? Where's it at?
Jamestown, New York.
Yep. Jamestown, that's right. Yeah, he got a dub up in Jamestown today. So they're on their way, man. I texted him. I said, you better bring it home. You got to bring it home. But no, getting back to the Phillies. Like they remember they realigned their whole entire defensive output. You had Arraez come in. You didn't bring in any new starters. Painter's back up. I mean, a lot of moving parts here with this team. And I teased it prior to the break. Andrew Painter and Aaron Nola. It's an interesting conversation because, and we touched on it with Oscar. Andrew Painter, I don't know what to make of him because yesterday was atrocious in the first inning. I mean, absolutely atrocious. He could not hit his spot. He couldn't throw a strike. And we brought it up during the fastball segment. There was a slider that he put right down the pipe. Fouled away, nearly a home run. Lucky it was foul. He goes right back to the same pitch.
Yeah.
Grand slam. They're down 4-0 in the first inning. And then he hits another batter right after that in the brim of the helmet. And he was just all over the place to start that ball game. And that makes me worry because, listen, he only gave up one more run after that. 5 earned over 5 innings. He was much better. But if he's going to be a guy that you could turn into like a David Price from like the 08 run from the Rays, right? Where he could come out, give you 2 innings in a nice pocket and shut down a lineup. I don't know if he's that guy. I wanted him to be that guy last year with what the Dodgers did with Snell and things of that nature. Can he be that guy? I just don't know. The command is just not there. The stuff, all we've heard about is the stuff with Andrew Painter.
He was throwing 97 yesterday.
It's great. He gave up 5 runs.
I know. Yeah.
And a dinger, and he couldn't throw a strike to start the game. If you're bringing him in for a pocket in the 6th inning or the 5th inning because Aaron Nola or Jesus Luzardo's pitch count was really high and you had to take him out of the game, you're in trouble. You're in a lot of trouble.
Can you say that not the old Painter is back, but maybe,
Oh, you're loving the B word today. Oh, you are loving the B word. They win 3 games against the Twins. They go to Iowa and they're back.
I know, it's true. But, he did – the last couple outings he has looked a lot better since coming back up from AAA.
Yeah, he has.
The start against St. Louis, that was
great.
Very encouraging.
He stunk in the first inning yesterday.
He did.
Put his team in a hole.
He did.
He couldn't throw a strike. But that's where I get nervous. I get nervous because he's only going to come in for like an inning or 2, and they just need him to command his pitches, command that fastball, find your spots, hit your spots, locate your pitches. He just he's consistently inconsistent with that.
The only thing I'll say is command is overrated.
No, it's not. He don't hit his spots. He's going to give up dingers. You're going to have grand slams in the first inning. Go down in a hole. And what if they're in like a tight ball game against a team like the Cubs? I'm going to be freaking out. I'm going to be sweating bullets.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not throwing him out there in a 3-game set against the Cubs.
So does he have a role on the postseason roster?
I wouldn't think so. Not at this point. Now, if he has a good finish to the year, right? If he has the next,
he's got to get hot.
Give him 4 more starts, and he pitches like he did yesterday or against the Cards.
And you know what this does? It always goes back to Dave Dombrowski because he did not go out and get another starter at the deadline. This is the problem.
Yeah.
Aaron Nola, listen, he's been great over the past couple of games. I don't know if I trust him coming out of the pen.
He's my game 4 starter.
Yeah, but you're in a wild card series. You're not going to use
No, he's not going to get that was the problem last year.
So that's what I mean.
This is the same exact conversation we had last year.
Your 2 starters can't come out of the pen because you just don't depend on them or trust them. And then you have McFarland coming in. Can he be a Kerkering type of player? I don't know. Bolin. After that, it's like, oh, man, if Wheeler, Luzardo, or Sanchi, they get into trouble in that wild card series, the Phillies are done. They are done. Squad. They have to score 10 runs to win a game.
Luzardo, he's really becoming not just the third pitcher of this rotation. He's moving up that food chain for me. The last month for him.
Yeah.
He's really showing me something.
Yeah, he's been great. Their first 3 I'm not too concerned about, but it's baseball, and you're going against really good teams in the postseason. I would have liked them to get another starter or get someone else that can come out of the pen and be that Blake Snell type of guy like the Dodgers have had, and they just did not do it. 609-403-0973. I do want to read some of your texts on the Phils. Tim in Summers Point chiming in to the Andrew Painter conversation. He says, sorry to say it, but Andrew Painter is never going to be a top 3 pitcher in this rotation. Maybe he can have success elsewhere down the line, but I think that dude is cooked.
I mean, I'm not here to disagree with the guy. He's had a terrible season, but he is still young. He's under control, right? We love that word control, especially with a starting pitcher. Does he have to reinvent himself maybe over the offseason heading into Clearwater next year? I'm not here to totally write the guy off.
I'm not going to write him off totally yet, but it's not encouraging what we've seen from him. They plan on having Andrew Painter being an integral part of this team, just like Justin Crawford. They were going to lean into the young guys this year, and Crawford's been fine. He hasn't been great or anything extremely exciting, but he's been fine. He's been good. Painter's had to go down to AAA. Like, he had an ERA over 6 in AAA last year. They thought all of a sudden they could just bring him up and he'd be a star because of the stuff. And Mike Gill fell into that. And I disagree with him vehemently. You were there on opening day. We got into a big battle about Painter. And I didn't think he was ready yet. I think maybe another year down in AAA would have helped him. But now he's been up here and he's struggled. And you just hope he finds his confidence, because the command just has not been there over the past couple of years as a starter down in the minors. Now this year with the Phils, you were hoping he was going to be that guy. That's why you let a Ranger Suarez go in the offseason. That's why you don't bring him back. Also, that the money was, going to be outrageous for Ranger because of who his agent is, Scott Boras. But that's why you won't even consider bringing Ranger back, because you thought Andrew Painter could slide in that role, and then you have 4 really good starters, and then you have Aaron Nola as your 5th. That was the thought. That was the thinking. That was what the Phillies sold us on. And it just did not pan out the way we had hoped. Now there's a month and a half left in the season. He's been better, but do you trust him in a big moment? Do you think he's going to be scared out of his britches for going in there in the postseason?
I wouldn't trust him in a postseason spot right now.
Do you trust McFarland?
Yeah, in one inning,
so?
yeah, I think so. Just throw me 100, strike 3 guys out.
The one thing I did disagree with Oscar on during our Phillies fastball segment earlier is I don't think this team's better than 22. I don't think this team's better than last year. I really don't.
This team's it's a weird spot right now.
They're older. They don't have as much depth as they've had in the past, and I just don't think they can go and sustain a run with where they're at right now and the way this roster is constructed.
And judging from reports, the next manager of the team
already ready to move
fishing
on.
in Massachusetts somewhere. Yeah.
Cora. I mean, I don't know.
That's a weird – I mean, I asked that question to McGarry and Oscar today. The report over the weekend from Nightingale about Alex Cora that being the next manager, barring a World Series championship for Mattingly. We knew that back, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, whatever it was.
Yeah.
But the timing of it is just, I don't know, it's weird. I don't know where it comes from.
609-403-0973 is the White Horse RV text board. We had a text come in about Alex Cora earlier in the program. With Alex Cora rumored to be named the Phillies' new manager next year, is there an extra spark in the clubhouse to win it for Donnie Baseball?
Win one for the Gipper.
Keep up the great show. Hang up and listen. No name. Could it be a spark to get Donnie a ring? Because remember, he still hasn't won. He still has not won. Didn't win that.
He's not in the Hall of Fame. He doesn't have a World Series ring as a manager.
But he played, so Nick Castellanos would love him.
Right.
Do you believe they have $30 million not playing for them in right field right now?
Garcia,
how is that
Castellanos,
possible?
Right.
How is that possible? I mean, that's
It's
$30
bad
million
baseball decisions. Yeah. I mean,
$30 million you could have spent on another arm, on another bat. Instead, you go out and you release Castellanos because he was a massive failure. Hurt season.
Signing Garcia did not make sense to me at all. Expecting him to recreate 1 month of his career back in 2022, wherever it was.
The Band-Aids Dombrowski has tried to put on this team have been just an atrocity. Just an absolute atrocity. Listen, they won 3 in a row. It was a fun weekend. I think they can continue it for about another week or two. They have a really tough schedule coming up. I hope I'm dead wrong. I hope we revisit this show.
Yeah, you know what?
In October.
The next barbecue I go to, you're not invited. The next barbecue I'm going to, You could stay in the car.
I'm not talking crazy.
All right?
You know I'm being realistic.
You're ruining my weekend.
Is this what happens when you start pushing 30?
Yes.
You get a little more bitter.
Negative Nancy. Yes. Negative Nick. Yes.
Negative Nick today.
Yeah.
All right. Coming up, we'll wrap it up. We'll read more of your texts on the White Horse RV text line. Nikki Earnshaw, Pete G, filling in for Mike Gill. This is the Sports Live from the Fanatic Sportsbook inside Ocean Casino Resort. We'll wrap it up on the other side.
LeBron James plays here.
Here's James for three. Got it. LeBron James knocks it down.
97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's radio home of the Philadelphia 76ers.
Hop in a John Deere Gator XUV for a day's work. Let's see what's on the to-do list. There goes the tree. And the fence. Not a problem. Because you've got a cargo box filled with solutions. Up to 4,000 pounds of towing capacity. And you're ready to roll.
Power's out!
Here we go again. The Gator XUV, built for every kind of workday. Learn more at johndeere.com/Gator XUV. Nothing runs like a deer.
ESPN, and the free mobile app.
The 5 o'clock hour of the Sports Bash is brought to you by Cross County Connection, providing fare free transportation across southern New Jersey. For details, call 856-229-7571 or visit driveless.com.
Welcome back. This is the Sports Bash. Nicky Earnshaw, Nuggets, whatever the heck you want to call me, alongside Pete G riding shotgun, Josh Henning back in the studio, filling in for Coach Mike Gill today. What a show it was. A lot of fun. Talked little Phils, little Birds, little Sixers. I can't wait for the Sixers season to start. By the way, they released their full preseason schedule. We have the preseason.
When's the first game? The first ever game of this.
Guess who they play?
I know they play the Knickerbockers. Right?
October 5th.
Oh my gosh, that's
versus the Knicks. So, are you more excited about the preseason game or the 20th? They're at home against the Knicks on October 5th.
Now we know LeBron ain't gonna play in that.
No, I still might go. I might go. It's because it'll be a little cheaper.
Yeah, but you're gonna get to see Phylon.
It's gonna be the Delaware Bluecoats. All right, October 8th at Brooklyn, 7:30. October 10th at Boston, 8 p.m. And then home against Boston, October 16th is how they round out the preseason. And then, almighty, October 20th at MSG.
Is that going to be the most anticipated, one of the most anticipated games of all time in Philly sports history? It's got to be.
For me, it is. I literally can't wait.
The debut of LeBron James in a Sixers.
I'm going to say this. I'm excited.
That beats like Harper's first game.
Yeah.
T.O.'s first game, right? I mean, it has to.
I'm excited about the Eagles season, and I'm excited for a possible Red October once again. I don't think anything beats that game.
I agree with you.
And we're not even going to be there. Like, you can't get in there.
No seats, Pete.
No seats, Pete.
Yeah.
No nosebleeds, Nick. So
listen, Sixers, Jazz, me and you.
I had a buddy of mine say
right now. Sixers, Pelicans.
I had a buddy of mine say we probably could go to Sacramento, get a flight, hotel, all for cheaper than go to a good game in Philadelphia
and not see LeBron play on a back-to-back coming out of Sacramento. Yeah.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for us today. Thank you, everyone who tuned in. Very much appreciated. Josh Henning will be back in this chair tomorrow, live from the Ocean Casino Resort Studios. I will be back on Nuggets at 4:30 tomorrow. PG, we'll talk to you soon. I know you're going on vacation. Thanks to everyone who tuned in. Thanks to Jovan Alford, Mike McGarry, Jeff Mosher, and Oscar Buttigieg. You've been listening to the Sports Bash right here on 97.3 ESPN. Peace.